died in the, or that's oh, dude, his body flew across the room.
He fucking flew, dude.
Hello? Is it me you're looking for? I can see it in your eyes. I can feel it in your touch. Pointed.
Oh, you just grabbed it. Who said I like to rough like that?
Oh, hello. I'm a good girl because I'm good at what I do. Come on, Jay.
I'm trying to wake up, goddammit. I gotta go to school.
Make you work for it.
I wonder if I could beat up. Oh my god! You should have been the one to get hit for that.
Not bad. But if you are bad, you're good at being bad. And we like people who are good at being bad. Who wants to play with me? Anybody? Do I have any people who want to take me up on that offer? Oh, what the fuck? Oh, Bloodella. Oh, for the new people who are in here, welcome to the shit show that is Wicked Love. So, I hope you enjoy yourself. It's gonna be a wild ride.
He died in the, or that's oh, dude, his body flew across the room.
He fucking flew, dude.
Hello? Is it me you're looking for? I can see it in your eyes. Everybody can hear us. Hello, hello. Welcome to Raw and Uncut. And tonight we will be talking about different conspiracy theories. I am here with the lovely Queen of the East, my co-host for this lovely podcast. And we also have Ryan Relish, our awesome stream team lead. And we have Snowman Burner, who is also a part of the stream team. And we have Gatsby, one of our newest stream team members. She is awesome. Awesome, awesome. And then we have Sky, who is joining us for the podcast tonight. And do you stream, Sky?
No, she doesn't make connection. No, it's
I think I've asked that before.
very rare.
I didn't remember. But yes, this is the amazing people who are going to be talking about conspiracy theories with us tonight. So I will turn it over to the beautiful Queen of the East.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you have. We'll start with Queen.
I'll start with me. Okay, okay. All right. Well, everybody was supposed to pick a topic of theories that they wanted to talk about, what interested them most. Mine was the Bermuda Triangle and the polar ice caps. And we're going to go more into that a little bit later, but I wanted to start with the Bermuda Triangle and the conspiracy theory that the ocean, the deeper you go, is actually space. I don't know if y'all have heard this. Have y'all heard about this?
No.
It's been a while,
Okay.
but yeah.
So the idea is that because we don't know, we have not explored our oceans as much as space and stuff like that. We don't know nowhere near as much. People assume or think that what is actually happening is that the deeper you go into the ocean, it's more so like space. That is what they assume it to be. If they go by, if you look at the space suits, they look a lot like the suits that people wear when they go underwater.
Yeah.
The ships that we use to go underwater and not very successful. We won't go into that, but not very successful on that. But you know what I mean? Like that, this is the idea that they have, and they think that aliens that we talk about, they wonder if maybe deep down into the ocean, that's what they are. That's what they look like. They look like something that could come out of water, the way we describe them and stuff like that.
It is an interesting theory because I don't know if that one's been around for a while, but I do know that recently it has been more of a popular theory because if nobody has actually heard of it, they had a press conference or
Mhm,
something like that where they came
mhm.
out and said that aliens are real and that
Yeah.
they've been among us all this time and that
Mhm,
there's the theory that or not really the theory, but they say that instead of calling them extraterrestrials, that they're not
mhm,
actually from outer space, that they are from the ocean. They are
mm,
aquatic, not,
mhm.
you know. So
Right.
it's a more popular conspiracy theory as of
It
recently.
is. It's
But
definitely been going around. When I first heard it, it was on TikTok, obviously, going down that rabbit hole of looking through conspiracy theories. This is the
right.
one that I just had to discuss it. I'm like, okay, but then they also brought in the Bermuda Triangle as being uh part of that. The reason why we think it is, it goes into other dimensions or it, goes to other
Mhm.
places, again going back to maybe that's like the door for these aquatic beings coming to our grounds and stuff like that. Like there was this whole thing on that as well, which I found very amusing because again, we don't know much about the Bermuda Triangle either. We have our theories on it, but nothing,
Still
not
no.
one thing has been 100% proven. And the things that the Bermuda Triangle has spit out, even like ships that just disappeared around that area, but then came up 100 years later, just floating
Right.
on the water. Nothing in it. Nothing to show that anything happened to those people.
Why
It's
is it
just
doing that?
there. I wondered if maybe that was what do y'all think about that? I want to know. I need to hear y'all's theories.
Oh,
So okay. So I've heard I've heard of a theory based off the Bermuda Triangle not being specifically in the ocean.
Oh.
Um, basically, uh, to caveat off of extraterrestrial beings, aliens, the Bermuda Triangle is like a satellite base. And so when
Oh.
people get like abducted or they have these weird experiences, the Bermuda Triangle actually travels the globe, picking and choosing, test subjects or, whether it's boats, airplanes to do research on.
Mhm.
And it's not just located, I believe, off the coast of Cuba is where most people tend to put it on like a globe or a map,
Mm-hmm.
but more of a satellite or like a space base, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
that travels, choosing its test subjects.
So it's not just in what you're saying is it's not just in one location. Is it something that moves around, or is it something that
Correct.
isn't like okay, so it's something that moves around. That would make sense. But my thing is with that, with all the things that we've heard about the Bermuda Triangle, it's always in the ocean. It's always something went missing, something went awry, it's some devastating action happened where things go missing or things get, crashes happen or something like that. And it's unexplainable. The best explanation that they ever came up with was the air tides being very different because of the location that it's in. Now, how true that is, again, nothing when I was going through all of my none of it has been confirmed. None of it's like, yes, this is 100% why this happens. It is a theory because a lot of people are too chicken shit to go and find out because of the things that
And
happen, people
I don't
going
have a
missing.
rowboat big enough.
You're like,
So
I would go
actually,
find out.
the Bermuda Triangle kind of goes into some of my theories, which is wormholes. It says, could the Bermuda Triangle be a portal to another space and time? A pilot by the name of Bruce Gernon said it is. I didn't believe in time travel or teleportation until it happened to me, Gernon says. The pilot alleges that a fog surrounded his craft and he leaped ahead 100 miles. Don't believe it? Luckily, Gernon documented what happened and memorized every detail of that flight, publishing a book about his experience in 2017.
Hmm.
So yeah, there's the theory that it could be a portal, a wormhole that takes you into another time and place. It could be in the past, it could be in the future, um, which also comes into black holes and white holes as well, which
Hmm.
is the thought that the black hole sucks everything in and you can't get out of it. And then the white hole is the opposite, where it pushes everything out. So the idea is that maybe there's a part of the Bermuda Triangle which is like a black hole type deal
Hmm.
that sucks everything in, and then out the other side comes other stuff, maybe from the past, maybe from the future.
Now that brings me to another question. I'm gonna have a lot of questions through all of this because I want to know y'all's thoughts on it. Do you think when they talk about time travel, when they talk about different time periods, stuff like that, do we think that instead of those being like our history books, those different time periods, I don't know how to explain it without sounding silly. Um, do
That's
we
what
We're
think,
all
conspiracy
we're
is
all
for.
gonna sound a little silly with our conspiracies and stuff, but
yeah.
it's all good.
Okay, so for the people that have watched, The Flash, right? And they talk about all these different worlds, different times, different same people, different
Timelines.
situations. Yeah. Do we think that's a thing?
I do. I
You
do
do? You
believe.
think
I
that's a
do
thing?
believe in alternate realities. I
There we
believe
go. That's
in
what I was looking
alternate
for. Alternate realities. There
dimensions.
we go.
There are multiple timelines
Mhm.
where we exist, just on a different level.
Mm.
And that's where another one that I was thinking about, which is deja vu. The
Yes.
feeling that something that you're doing in the there and now, you've actually done before, even though you know you've never done it before.
Mhm.
That's where possibly your alternate self is possibly doing the same thing that you're doing or has done the same thing that you're doing. And that's why you feel like you've done it before, because your alternate self has done it and you're just remembering.
Huh.
My conspiracy leads into that. So
Please don't be afraid to pop in with your conspiracy
Yes.
anytime. It doesn't have to go on a
In order.
one
No, no,
person at a
no.
time
So,
Because there's gonna
basis.
be, like I said, I'm gonna have so many questions that y'all
so
gonna get tired of me today. I can guarantee it.
to bounce off of deja vu moments, right? Have
Hmm.
you guys heard of the right now we are reliving our lives and we're being born as new babies for reincarnation?
I have okay. So because of Hinduism, there is this whole thing about reincarnation and all of that, and I have wondered that. I've dug a little bit into it, not into, into depth, but I do, in my opinion, believe in reincarnation
I
to a
do too.
degree. Yeah, I do believe to a degree that it is a thing. But go ahead. I just cut you off. I'm sorry.
No, you're
I
good.
got excited. I was like, I'm not crazy. I'm not the only one that's looked into these things.
No,
Like,
absolutely
it's a
So,
believe
very
Wear the
interesting,
tinfoil hats when we need them.
right?
so with this, it's basically like, the reason you get deja vu is because you're reliving moments of your life before you're reborn. Or, in my personal opinion, you've already been reborn and everything that you're experiencing right now was a dream as you as a baby.
that. That's a good one. Well, have you heard of the one where we're the theory of brains in a vat, that we're all actually dead
Dying
and
in a
our
vat in
brain
the
is in a vat?
garage.
Our brain is in a vat, and there are wires hooked up. We're hooked up to like a mega computer or something like that, and it sends electrical impulses, and that we're not actually living our lives. We think we're living a life that we're not actually living.
So,
It's like the video game from Rick and Morty where it's
Oh,
like
Roy.
Roy. So it's VR, but you're living somebody else's life.
I
Yeah.
don't know. I feel like we experience certain things that, like, some joys and sadness, like, that are so extreme. I find it hard to believe that that can be manipulated because, like, the joy of your firstborn child, like, that is something only that person could ever experience. Like, it's there's no describing it. There's no, like, that love and that happiness. I don't
Hey,
know if
comrade.
it could, you know what I mean? But
So, I mean, think about it like this, Queen.
mhm,
So when we do die, we
mhm,
have, I think it's like 5 to 10 minutes where our brains are still active.
yes.
Um, and that is the point in time where they say your life flashes before your eyes, because your brain is still going even though your body has given up. Um, so your brain, those electrical impulses in your brain are still going, and you're
Mhm,
rem- remembering times that happened in your life, good memories, bad memories, whatever. All the people that you loved, that you've known throughout your life. That is the basis of how they describe the brain in the vat theory. That
mhm.
we're just reliving our lives that we have already lived, but it's like a life flashing before our eyes type deal. So, in that 5 to 10 minutes that we still have of
Mhm.
brain activity, we're living a whole life again. And that's where the conspiracy theory for the brain in the vat comes in.
Damn.
So along the lines of that, I've heard that theory with like an advanced civilization overseeing it who has more, I guess,
Yes.
understanding of the brain's function.
Mhm.
Hmm.
And they're basically able to manipulate your senses in that way.
Yes.
Ah.
Yes. And see, I've been trying to find the website that I found that on before, and it's nowhere to be found. Nowhere to be found. And this hasn't even been a full year since I was looking at this stuff, looking it up. I can't find any of those conspiracy theories anywhere online anymore. No matter how I word it, no matter how I search it, I can't find them. It's like they never, like that website never existed or something. It's really weird.
It's kind of like the Walt Disney conspiracy theory too, about how he's like frozen underneath Disneyland.
That is
Yes.
the Frozen theory. Like the movie Frozen, they claim that that movie was made to pretty much it's like a conspiracy
As a
theory
cover-up.
that's why that as a cover up, yes. Like
So,
look what this hand is doing while this other hand's doing this.
That also brings me to the conspiracy theory that I told you, Wicked, with the gloves. Why the
I
Disney
never did
characters
look
wear
that
gloves.
up.
So they say that I'm gonna play the video here in a little bit, but there's a video on it as to why Mickey, Minnie, Goofy, all of them, why they wear white gloves, and they have the 3 lines on the gloves. I'll mess it up if I even try to describe it, but there was
I've
a
read it
whole
before, but I can't remember.
yeah, it's a whole theory behind it, and I was just like, is it that deep though? But I'm like, I wouldn't be surprised if it was, but it's just like that much detail into, and they say like Disney does this, where they put a lot of shit in their movies and their cartoons, and you got to spot it to find it, and then once it's explained, you can't unsee it type thing, and that was one
There's
of
a
them. I
lot
was
of
like, I
conspiracy
never even
theories
thought
with
of.
Disney movies. Like
Yeah,
that's a whole rabbit hole by itself.
it is.
Um
It is.
like I mean there's one old Mickey cartoon where he was like putting holes in the cheese, like the Swiss cheese or whatever,
Mhm.
and he was using a private part to do it. Like, have you seen that video?
yes.
Yes.
No,
Yeah,
I have
it's
not.
terrible. Oh my God, look it up. Yes, there is a cartoon where
Uh-huh.
he was making
Now
holes
I
in the
gotta see
cheese
this.
and he's dancing and whistling and just he's using his private part to make holes in the cheese. I'm like, oh my God, I never noticed that.
Have you guys heard of the Wizard of Oz conspiracy?
That one of the Munchkins hung himself on set. Yeah,
In the original?
and you could see it in the
Yep.
original cut. Yes.
Is that a conspiracy theory though? Because
It is because they removed it.
They removed it,
I've
so
seen
there's
the
no
original
proof.
clip.
There's no proof that it was actually there. They claim that it was a bird, but ain't no bird hanging and swinging like that. That's no. I've seen the original cut of it, and there is actually something small hanging from a tree.
Yep.
Is that real?
And
That is real. That is
they
real.
tried to cover it up. That movie is all fun and games until you realize all of the dark secrets behind it.
Which one?
Dude, that movie was
The
never
Wizard of
fun
Oz.
and games. I mean, if you think about it, think about that movie was creepy as hell.
Which one?
Wizard of
Wizard of
Oz.
Wizard of Oz.
Oz.
Oh, I never liked Wizard of Oz
I
personally.
didn't
Like a
care
lot
for
of
it.
people love it for its because it's a classic and all of that.
My
I was like, I just
brother,
never vibed with it.
my brother, for his whole life, he loved The Wizard of Oz. That was like his thing, and
Oh,
um, and he still watched it up until the day he passed. But he absolutely loved it. But I was never really into it. I didn't care for it. I didn't like the
same.
idea of it. Um,
It just didn't make sense to me. I was just
there's
like,
It,
just
why
so
is this
many
so
things about
amazing?
that movie, and then the fact that Judy Garland was kind of
they
I
drugged
believe
her.
there's a theory that she was forced to sing Somewhere Over the Rainbow, even though it was not a good thing for her or something like that.
Mhm.
She didn't want to sing it because she had a very bad childhood, if I
Yeah,
remember correctly.
she did.
And
Yeah.
it
And they
made
also
her
drugged her.
unhappy.
Yeah, they drugged her while she was
Yeah.
doing all the acting and everything. Like it was insane what she went
Oh,
through.
you could tell she wasn't 100%
Dad is always
okay.
watching. Looks towards Ryan.
It's almost like one of those Mandela effect things, which is another one of those. It's a full
Dude,
rabbit hole that you
that's
can
a
go
whole
down.
rabbit hole. And honestly, I think we should do a whole podcast on the Mandela effect.
Even you know what? They're trying to make us sound crazy, and I'm like, I don't care what you say. I know I'm right.
So
Okay.
that
Like
also
there's just
comes into that also comes into the conspiracy theory that the world did end in 2012, that the Mayans did predict the end of the world, and that instead of us dying, we were pushed to an alternate reality. And that is why half of the population remembers one thing, where half of the population doesn't remember the other thing. Kind of like how who was it? Who did the Publishers Clearinghouse stuff that everybody claims he did not? He was not the host of it, but he actually a lot of people remember it. And then also Nelson Mandela, of course, that's why it was called the Mandela effect, because supposedly he died in jail.
oh, it's just like what's
He
his name?
actually didn't. That makes no sense.
That Shaquille O'Neal wasn't a genie in the
Oh, in the
movie.
movie,
No,
Oh
that
yeah.
wasn't
He was
Shaq.
Sinbad.
I
That
remember
was
as a
that
kid,
was
I'm like,
Sinbad.
yes,
Yeah.
I promise you, I swear there is a moment somewhere where he was dressed up as a goddamn genie.
People
And I'm
have
like,
the movie. People have
yeah,
videos showing that they have
uh-huh,
the movie. I watched
yeah,
the movie as a
yeah.
kid. But if
And
you
they're
look
like,
it up
no, it
online,
wasn't him.
yeah, if you look it up online, it never happened. It was called Shazam.
Yeah.
Because whenever they came out with the superhero movie or whatever called Shazam,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, why are they making another movie called Shazam? The original
Right.
was about Sinbad being a genie and all that,
Mm-hmm.
and two
Mm-hmm.
kids, and Sinbad's like, I was never a genie. That never happened. And I'm like, I clearly remember watching
Mm-hmm.
this movie as a
Mm-hmm.
kid.
And they have us feeling crazy, I'm telling you.
Oh
Just
They
yeah.
like
have
the
a
trick
whole
cereal.
filter on the Mandela effect and what we see. And I'm like, no, 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 no. What I remember, like again, my memory can be shit sometimes, but things as a kid, it's like I remember more vividly things as a kid than I do from like yesterday type shit. Like it's just one of those things. It's like, no, I remember this vividly. And they're like, no,
Mhm.
not how it was. And I'm
Yeah.
like, you're not
The
gonna make me sound insane.
the trick cereal theory. You guys heard of that?
Yes.
What's
What's
that?
Where they were shapes when we were kids, but now that we're adults, they're just the little berry
flowers?
things.
Yeah.
So like they were, the flower, they were the
Yeah.
watermelon,
Oh my
and
God, I
Yeah.
remember
now
that.
now they're just the circles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they were definitely the shapes. Amber, hola,
Absolutely
hello.
remember that. I do remember
My
that.
sister's in here, y'all. She's good with conspiracy theories too.
She
And you
changed her
changed her
name.
name. She
We,
did, Amber Rochella.
we
Uh,
can
oh.
we can stir the pot on the conspiracy theories here.
Yes,
Because when we talk about things, I like to use my other monitor to look things up.
go for
Um,
it.
does anyone have like a
I don't have that set up on
strong
my stream.
no
Damn
like
it. Okay.
a strong sense of like the history of virtual reality?
Well,
Virtual
explain.
reality?
You're
Yeah.
gonna
So
have to
like
explain that.
starting with like flight simulators for pilots. Uh,
Mhm.
I have this article pulled up. The official creation of virtual reality or artificial reality is
Okay.
dated back to 1968.
Mhm.
Uh, they had headsets. They're hooked up to a computer, um, and the stir the pot part. If we want to go ahead and combine conspiracy theories, the end of the world in 2012, which would date virtual reality, is right around when Oculus was getting their Kickstarter, getting their funding.
Mm-hmm.
With the world ending and all the time that we've spent perfecting and mastering virtual or artificial reality, we could almost lead that to believe that that's how they've created the brain in the vat theory, and we're using an advanced form of virtual reality to mimic, lives that we've lived and experiences with each other because we're all just in a virtual world together.
So
Like a
Rick
Sword
and
Art
Morty.
Online nerve gear type thing where we can actually
Yeah.
feel and sense and move.
This is
and
Sword Art Online
But
2.0.
We're in it. We're in
do
it.
we believe that okay, so then it goes into how many people populate the world? Some billion people,
It's like
correct?
7 billion.
Yeah.
Almost 8 at this
Do we
point.
do we think that is a solid number? Do we think that there are fillers within like
NPCs.
things? Yeah, something like
There are
that. Do you think
fillers.
that there I think so, but
Yeah, like
like I've
NPCs.
seen it, and a lot of there's other people that believe in it, but they're like, oh well, how would somebody? I'm like, I find it hard to believe
It's
that.
me. I'm the NPC.
Makes sense.
It's me. Hi.
Like when you
But
see those videos of like people in cars just like appearing out of nowhere,
yeah,
and
Mhm.
you're just supposed to believe that someone edited that, but
Right.
it's so common to see that you're like, is someone just putting this here and we're just supposed to accept that it's here?
It's kind of like the Hunger Games too when they're in the arena, how they can
Uh-huh.
just put things in wherever they want.
hmm
Did you see the video where a woman was crossing the street and a car came and hit her? It hit her.
But the
And
car
all it
wasn't there.
did, no, the car was there. It was her. She got tapped, brushed it off, and continued walking.
yeah, yeah.
You've seen that, right?
hmm
And they're like, and it was from like a camera on the street. So it's not like somebody, got it on their phone or anything like that. Like this
Ooh.
was, and they tried to find her. Nobody, she's gone. Poof.
I
Nobody
saw
knows
a
where she is.
video very similar to that. It was a police chase, and they chased this guy to a fence that was not open. It was all locked up and stuff. Dude
He
drove
went
through the
right through it.
fence, disappeared.
Yep.
And they did a Mythbusters episode on it trying to prove it
Bust.
right, and they had to double up the brackets at the top just to even get it to fall back in place fast enough for it to seem realistic.
Mhm.
And if someone's spending the money on a fence with how large the area is, I don't think they're going to spend the extra money to double bracket all of those fence links.
No.
And it wasn't even a gate. It was just a chain link fence.
Hmm.
And he drove.
See, that's what makes me think of the fillers.
It's
I'm like, there's
a
just no way
glitch
to explain that shit.
matrix.
Glitch in the
Just,
matrix.
I'm
Yep.
I'm telling you that I do believe that we are living in a simulation, or that
Oh yeah.
we do live in the matrix, and that sometimes there are glitches. And we
Right.
just so happen to, at certain points in time, we actually notice these things. People are waking up, whether you want
Mhm.
to believe it or not, over the past 10 years or so.
Mhm.
I mean, since 2012, a lot of people have started noticing these little things that
Right.
we didn't notice before. But now
Fucking woke.
that we're
The
we're
Tin Hat
waking up
folks.
to these things, we're noticing more and more stuff. Our kids are noticing more and more. I mean, these kids that are being born nowadays, way more advanced than what we were when we were kids. Like, it's just certain little things that are happening over short periods of time
Mhm.
that is making people realize that maybe our world isn't actually what it seems. And there's also the conspiracy theory that Area 51, the reason why we are not allowed into Area 51 is because maybe it's the exit from this world. That was one conspiracy theory that I came across, was that it's the dome theory, that we do live in a dome, that there is a dome over the top around the world, whatever. And they don't want us to escape, that we are test subjects, pretty much, that they're testing on us and doing certain things with our food and stuff like that, and that we're not allowed to go into Area 51 because then we would be able to exit. Kind of like the Truman Show.
Energy.
I mean, think about it like the Truman Show. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie, but
I haven't watched it. I heard about it though.
yeah, so pretty much our life is like a movie, and they are controlling everything that we do.
That just makes me think of
I don't know who they are,
right.
but our lives are being controlled and manipulated by something or someone.
Mhm. That makes me think that again, like a lot of people have been talking about it on TikTok, that Jim Carrey knows something, where they try to make him seem like he's crazy and he's lost his mind. But they're like, listen closely to the stuff he says before you start. Like, that's what they're like, oh, that's why he's insane. Have you heard it? They're
He's
like,
not crazy.
yeah, have you heard it? He says it multiple times. He says it in front of cameras. He doesn't care who's listening. He is, and again, yes, he's doing some acting here and there, but they're like, have you not seen the difference between the 90s when he was really popping off to now, and how he's doing things? And it seems like he's moving in a certain way for a reason. I don't know exactly what, because this is where again I don't know exactly what his theories are. All I know is he's like, none of this is real. All of this is fake.
That's why Hollywood
You're
dropped
not
him.
like, yeah.
Yeah.
And then almost tried to blacklist him basically, because at this point, again, he's still getting a job here and there, but it's nowhere near where it was in the 90s. Again,
No.
he was big time in the 90s.
I mean, his biggest movie since the 90s was the Sonic franchise.
I
And
remember on the
that's a
carpet,
children's movie.
yeah, and on the red carpet where I think it was for that movie, that's where he did the interview with this lady, and he was talking to her, and he's like, "You're not real. This isn't real." She's like, "Well, you showed up, like you're dressed." He's like, "Yeah, no, it's not like that." And he left it at that. He just said it was not like that.
Yeah. No, he's been talking for years that none of it's
Mhm.
real. And
Yeah.
people don't know whether to believe it or whether to think he's crazy.
Mhm.
But I mean, it's kind of like a catch-22. Do you believe him, or do you believe that he's crazy?
A lot of people in Hollywood are made to look like they're crazy.
Oh
And
yeah.
it's just one of those things where I'm just like, I don't know if I believe that. It's just like Britney and all her shit, that's a whole nother thing. That they think like it's not her,
You know
it's
she's
somebody
putting
else.
out her book, right?
Yup. Oh yes.
But who was it? Justin Timberlake, and there was somebody else who said that they were not going to agree to letting her put them in the book because there's things that they don't want to come to light that
Oh my
happened
Kevin
and all
Federline.
that. That's who it was. So
Mhm.
their attorneys took the manuscript or whatever, and they went over it and made sure everything was good before they gave it back to her. And I think it's set to come out in October, maybe.
Mhm. Yeah, something like that.
I'm super excited to read it. I'm gonna get it.
She made videos over it, and now those videos are gone too.
That scared the fuck out of me.
What?
Like
That's
its
my
door
son.
opening in the background.
That's my son. But
Ooh.
yeah, so I'm super excited to read it because I want to finally get to see her side of things, see how she felt about all of this because she was controlled her whole damn life,
I don't
and
think her book is gonna be her book.
honestly, you're probably right.
It's not
Mhm.
Britney, bitch.
Right. Like, I think it's gonna be what they want us to hear. It's not gonna be
Well,
what she would put out there
it's gonna
and
be
tell.
interesting to see what's in it. So, more power to her. I'm glad that she's finally got some sort of freedom, but I don't feel like she's completely free.
Yeah.
You know.
Do we believe it's her? Like, there's this whole
Well,
thing on
there
if she's actually alive or not, or if
there's a
somebody
conspiracy
is
theory
pretending to be her.
that she died and that her sister is making appearances with Britney's face kind of superimposed, or other people who are making appearances as her. Um,
Mhm.
so I
It's
don't
like the
know.
Avril Lavigne theory.
Yeah.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
I believe that one fully. It's the
I
Avril
believe
Lavigne that
it
we
too.
see now is
Is
not
not the
Avril
Avril
Lavigne.
She's
Lavigne.
Nope.
completely
No.
different from the Avril Lavigne that I remember. There's a lot of differences.
She is
Um,
very, very girly now. Very much, full on makeup,
that's what I'm
like, even her
saying.
music changed. Her
Yeah.
music even changed.
This
Like,
one
it
doesn't
didn't hit
believe
the
it.
same. You
I have
don't
a
believe
hard
it?
time. I have a hard time with it.
You have a
I don't
hard
know.
time with it?
Did you
It's
see
one of
her
those
son?
things if you
Did you see her
compare it.
double? Did you see her double? How much she looks like her? Like,
Yeah.
A little
I
surgery would make her spitting image. Just
That's
a little
true.
bit. She didn't even need a lot. Just a tweak here and there.
mm-hmm.
It's her.
Yeah.
It's insane. Like the theories of who's alive, who's dead, because like you have those two that people think it's not them. There's people pretending to be them. Then you have the theories of Michael Jackson. He's not dead. Tupac. He's not dead.
Tupac. I believe the Tupac
Tupac's
one.
not dead.
You don't
Tupac's
think
not
so?
dead.
I
Mm-mm.
don't think Tupac's dead.
So
No,
now what?
because
What?
if you
Why?
want
Why do
to
we
think
think that?
about it, okay, so if you think about it, I believe it was his aunt or somebody who was also um on the run or hiding in another country or something like that because she was in a whole lot of trouble with, I think it was like the CIA or something like that. I don't know who it was. But
Mhm.
she's been in hiding for years and years. You don't think that he could have gotten the same idea? Like he was in a lot of trouble with these certain people and they were wanting to kill him and all that. If you didn't want to die for real, like you don't think he had the means and the ways to go into hiding, just like
And
his
he was
aunt?
the biggest rapper. He was a multimillionaire at that point.
Oh yeah.
And
And
on top of that, I watched an interview with Snoop Dogg, who did not confirm nor deny that he died, but he went and saw him in the hospital
Mhm.
after he had been shot, and he had a full-on conversation with him.
yeah, also, wasn't it a closed casket?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Even though
so
his
there's
face
no
was
proof.
fine,
Hmm.
supposedly it was his
There's no
chest.
proof that he was actually in that casket. No proof whatsoever.
Same with Elvis. I think Elvis is still alive too.
A lot of people think that. A lot of people think that, and I, for a long time, believed it right up until his daughter passed away, and then I was like, I don't know. With the movie that came out, and that was also the other thing. I was like, the timing for this shit is just unbelievable because the movie came out. his ex-wife, who she made plenty of appearances for this movie and stuff like that. The daughter passed away, and then it was silent. Like, she passed away, then there was nothing else. You heard nothing else. Nothing came out on the news about it. Like, it kind of just shut down.
Well, there was a few
And there was no other.
inconsistencies with his death. That's the problem. That's where
Yeah.
people came in and said that
Mhm.
maybe he wasn't actually dead because he was not buried where he was supposed to be buried.
Mhm.
And his name was spelled wrong on his tombstone. His middle name was spelled wrong. Um,
How do you
but
fuck that? It's
the
Elvis Presley.
the
Like, that's the
biggest,
one thing you don't
yeah,
want to
the
fuck up.
biggest thing is that he was not buried where he was supposed to be buried. Um, And then there was also the fact that they claimed that they found a homeless man dead a few years ago, and that blood tests were done and all that to try to figure out who this man was, and it was confirmed that it was Elvis Presley.
Mhm.
What?
Yeah, yeah. He didn't want
There
the
were
fame and the
images.
fortune anymore. He didn't want the fame and fortune anymore. He was tired of living in the public eye.
There were images. They took a young Elvis and this homeless man, and they combined the images, and all facial features were exactly the same.
Yep.
Just
I
extra
gotta look
wrinkles.
this up now.
Mhm.
Because I didn't even know anything about that.
Yes.
That's crazy. See, this kind of stuff is like, oh my God. Insane.
Rabbit hole, man.
Insane.
Like I
Ah!
said,
In a
conspiracy
membrane.
theories are a big thing for me, and like I could sit for hours and hours and find stuff like
Oh, hell yeah. There's
for
I
a
know.
lot.
I know we don't do like politics, and it's not really a political thing, but I firmly believe that 9/11 was an inside job.
Ew.
I do. I don't trust our government whatsoever.
I sure
Oh
as hell don't.
I
There's
firmly believe that it was an inside job. I'm not going to say who or what because that's considered politics, but
yeah,
mhm.
yeah, we're just gonna leave it at that. But yeah, I feel ya.
jet
That
fuel
was
don't melt
I
steel
was
beams, baby.
well, that goes into the Area 51 thing where I said I don't know who's controlling us,
Yep.
who or what.
mhm.
But yeah.
I don't know what I
So
mean.
there's some kind of
Without
control there over us. Like we
without
just don't
saying any
realize.
names, what do you guys think of that theory? Because, like I said, I've gotten a lot of hate for that.
I
Like
absolutely
I
do
have.
believe it. I I believe it. But yeah. So
Me as well.
Because I personally think, because again, it's confirmed, MythBusters confirmed this, jet fuel does not burn hot enough to melt steel beams. I think there were multiple explosions on different floors that caused the towers to collapse the way they did.
yes.
And
Uh,
video
And
evidence
it
to
was very
show that the
there was a lot of
explosions went outwards.
inconsistencies with it.
mhm. Yeah,
There
I've
was
seen
way too
that.
many inconsistencies with what happened. So yeah. I don't know who did it or whatever,
Do
but
you think it's one of those things again where it's like, this is happening. Pay attention to this and not what's happening over here.
Yep. Because it
yes.
caused us to go to war.
Mhm.
There's a lot of people that think that
It was
Pearl Harbor was a conspiracy theory, an inside job, because we were so bad off as a country.
Mhm.
And what brings money to a country? War.
Yep.
So it was one of those
I mean,
things
if you
that
really want to
whoever was
think
in,
about it throughout history, we could actually say that a lot of the wars
oh yeah.
were inside jobs.
Oh yeah.
Again,
oh
we're not gonna say like say who did it, whatever, but whoever was in control
The mastermind
Mhm.
for
behind it all.
Pearl Harbor to happen. They asked, hey, Japan, you should come do a couple strafe runs on our harbor, and we'll just jump into this war, and we'll make some money. You'll earn some money, and that's what it is.
I mean,
I
I wouldn't put
suppose.
nothing past anything,
I don't
honestly.
put it.
Especially
I
when it
don't
comes to
either.
the government. Just saying. Nothing
And
shocks
And
me.
I respect our military. I
Oh yeah.
respect everybody who's served, Brandon being one of them, Joey, you know.
Mm.
But there are some things that these lower class military vets or people don't know.
Mhm. Oh yeah.
Even
They
her
let
mom,
them know.
who's a colonel, I don't think would know half the shit that happens.
They let you know as
These
much as they
levels.
want you to know.
Yep.
That's how that goes. And you don't ask no questions.
You
Yep.
just say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir, no, sir.
That's right.
How high do you want me to jump? Do you want me to jump off this bridge?
Mhm.
Yeah, because I dated a guy who was in the army, and he's like, they teach you how to be a killing machine. They
Mhm.
teach you how to
Yes.
do this and that. He said, and he was crying while saying this. He said, but they don't teach you how to go back to civilian life. They don't help you go back to normal life.
That's
Mhm.
why there are so many homeless vets
Mhm.
on our
Mhm.
planet. Because,
He's got PTSD. While he was in Iraq, he ended up with dysentery, just all kinds of stuff happened to
Joey
him while in Iraq,
said,
and then he
"It's a
comes
need to
home.
know."
Yeah, and then he comes home, and he can't. When he came home, it took him a long time to be able to function, and he still has trouble. Like, he'll wake up in the middle of the night, or not even actually waking up. He's actually still in a dream where he's reliving the horrible things that he saw over there in Iraq, the horrible things that he was made to do.
this is
And
a
I
this is a
watched
deja
him,
vu moment.
yeah, I
You're
watched
having
him
deja
Whoa.
vu.
crawling across the floor, army crawling across the floor, looking for his people. It was sad. But
And
yeah,
from
they
my
teach you all these things, but they don't teach you how to go back to regular life.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
even if they consider that as not their problem, they still provide such piss poor options for either private or their version of healthcare.
Correct.
It they make it impossible.
I mean, they treat our vets like shit. And back in Vietnam, they came home and they got spit on. They got
Oh yeah.
food thrown at them. Like,
Mhm.
all because they thought, well, we shouldn't have been in this war. It's not the military's decision
Mhm.
to go to these
there
types of things, you know?
No. If they go against it and say, "I'm not doing that,"
That's
guess
considered
what
AWOL.
happens to them? Yeah. Yeah, and guess what happens when you
reason,
go AWOL?
Prison for a long time.
Fort Leavenworth.
Yup. And that's not someplace you want to be. That's where some of the worst are. And that is their treatment. Like just for saying, "No, I'm not doing that."
Right.
You don't get to say no. You once you sign those papers, you signed your life to
Signing your
them.
life away.
Right then and
Yeah.
there. That's it.
Yep.
And it's not yes sir, no sir. It is yes sir, yes ma'am. There is
Mhm.
no option for a no,
No.
otherwise there's going to be a punishment.
They even
And
have a funny saying of, like volunteer work. You're voluntold. You're
Yes.
yes,
told what you're gonna do. There is no like you could volunteer if you want to. No, 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 no.
like hey, we need this
We
done.
need this done
Mhm.
now.
Yep.
Like
I mean,
yesterday.
you were lucky enough, Brandon. You got out of your contract like a year
I
early, didn't you?
I sure did. Had some health issues, a lot of mental health issues.
That they don't care about, by the way.
No, they don't.
I It's hard to bring up
Mhm.
because I say this to everyone I talk to about it. I enjoyed the people I met.
Mhm.
I wasn't a huge fan of the company I was in
Mhm.
for the situation that my company was in, but
Mhm.
like the lifestyle itself wasn't bad. I wake up, I work out, we get our stuff done, and we go home by like 5, 6 o'clock. I can still stay up, play video games, hang out with my friends.
Yeah.
But it's so I was going to, uh, I don't know what the other branches call it. The Army calls it behavioral health.
Mhm.
So I went in to discuss. I had a pretty traumatic experience. Before I came in, I watched my grandfather pass away at the kitchen table with us, and I had to run and go find people to help bring him into the ambulance because the EMTs couldn't lift him.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember distinctly being told that it was my fault that he passed away by a therapist.
Somebody the military certified.
And I was thrown drugs, prescriptions were thrown at me to, suppress those feelings,
Depression meds. I remember you telling me about this.
I would love
anxiety
to
meds.
know who this therapist was. I
I
honestly would.
That's
I don't
terrible.
remember their name.
I mean, he was at the worst, like, military base in the United States, so it doesn't really surprise me that they were shitty.
I was about to fuck up and say something out loud. I was gonna scream the one that I disliked the most, but I won't do that. 'cause
Let's not do that.
yeah, no, we're not gonna do that. But I have
Let's
an
get back
opinion
on
on
the
it.
topic of conspiracies.
I am sorry you experienced that, Brenner. I really am.
Yeah.
That's really fucked up. I'm really sorry. That's shitty, and no one should have to deal with that.
No.
But that's how it is. Like you know what? And that's the other thing. I hate that saying. Well, that's just how it is. Why the fuck is
It's
it
what
like
it
that?
is. Yeah.
Why are
It's
we not working on
unacceptable.
it?
Right, exactly. Why is it not being fixed? Enough people go through it. Why is it not being fixed?
I mean, it leads into,
You
men
left?
aren't
Sorry, go
allowed to
ahead.
have mental health problems. We're supposed to be tough and strong and blah blah blah. Nobody gives a shit about mental health problems in
Uh-uh.
this world.
I tell my son every day, it is okay to have feelings. It is okay to be sad.
It's okay to cry.
And it is okay for a man to cry. Don't ever let anybody tell you that you're not allowed to cry, that men don't cry, because they most definitely do, and it is okay.
I mean, because of her, I have reached, finally found my emotions. So it's nothing for me to be watching like an anime or something and an emotional scene comes up, I start crying. I hate it.
Right. That's what
but I
I'm
start
saying.
crying.
Like, you are no less of a man if you do show some emotion.
I
And
think that makes you
anybody
more of
who
a man.
right. And anybody who tells you that it's not okay, then there's something wrong with them. Because why do you think we have so many men out there with anger issues?
Yep.
It's because they've always been told not to cry, not to show emotion, that it's not okay.
And it's
When
like
it is
too
okay.
with women as well, when they're like, yeah, if you don't cry, it makes you less of a woman. No, the fuck it doesn't.
No, it don't.
There's allowed to be strong women in the world.
I
She's
know.
stronger than I am.
We're cold-hearted. That's what we are if we don't cry.
Nah,
That's what it is.
nah.
Cold-hearted bitches.
It's not being cold hearted.
No, it's
Um,
not.
It's
there's
you're
a lot
trying
of
to
things
help.
that I've cried over, and it's like I'm to the point where I've cried all I can cry about it. So if
There
I
you
don't
go.
cry anymore
Exactly.
about it, then that doesn't make me cold hearted. That makes me to where I finally realize it's not worth crying over.
And
Right.
one of those things too, like if I break down over something emotional and she doesn't, that's her showing strength for myself.
Mhm.
And everybody copes in different ways. Everybody deals with things in different ways. There's no specific way to deal with grief. There's no specific emotion that you have to feel. You go through your feelings and your emotions in your way.
Mhm.
What works for you, and that is okay. We're all
Mhm.
different. We're all perfect in our own way. We're perfectly imperfect.
Agreed.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
All right. So back on
Yeah,
conspiracies.
back on topic.
I
This is
got
why I
another
love
one.
these.
So, have y'all heard of the polar ice caps? Every 12,000 years or something like that, they switch.
I
They
have.
shift.
You have heard of that.
I've heard of
Okay.
it. I haven't read into it, so I'll be
Okay.
interested to know more.
Okay. So, from what I understand, like I said, I think it's 10 or 12,000 years for the reasoning behind the Egyptians, Atlantis, all these things, and we can't explain as to why they're there, how they do it, all that kind of stuff. The explanation is that these generations, like the pharaohs and stuff like that, they had technology that we didn't know of. That, and as soon like they reach a peak, I guess, apparently from what I understand, they get to this point and it just flips and it causes destruction and everything, and it basically puts us back to the Stone Age for us. And we start all over again. And then we reach different peaks. So that's why we have all these different time periods that have, again, they had technology that we can't explain. They did
Right.
things we can't explain that we can't do right now. But then, but it's like a switch. It's like, okay, time to redo.
It's
But we get the leftovers. We have the leftovers of what they've done. But then now it's like, okay, and we're trying to, and that's why we're like clueless as to we can't explain how they did this, but they did it. And mind you, we have technology. We have quite more than they did back in the day.
Okay,
it's
so that
crazy.
falls under a conspiracy theory that I read about the
Okay.
Sumerians. So,
Okay.
if anybody has watched me play House of Ashes, um, Dark Pictures Anthology House of Ashes, they were
A little
in,
bit.
I believe they were in Iraq or somewhere like that, and there it went along the lines of aliens and stuff like that. Well, there's a theory that the Sumerians were not from this world, that they were from a different planet or something like that, and they came here to pretty much teach us or our ancestors how to do certain things, that they were way more advanced than people of that time. So if you think about, like, they made it to where they met the locals and stuff like that, and they taught them their ways. Where that comes in, like, I think the Mayans,
The
they
Mayans, yep.
had a lot of different things that they did. They had monuments that they built, huge monuments that they built,
Mhm.
and stuff like that. And it's like, how did they do this without some kind of help, some kind of technology? They had like a irrigation system and all of that. How did they learn how to do all that? Like, how did they
Mhm.
learn how to do half the stuff they did if they didn't have some kind of advanced technology, some kind of
And apparently their medicine
knowing?
was superior to ours.
But yet we couldn't figure that out in our time? How did they know that,
They
but yet
had
we didn't?
that they even claim, now again, I don't know if it's true, obviously, but they claim that they had cures for things that we don't even know about yet, like illnesses that
Yes.
would wipe us out completely. They had the cure for it. They
There's a
knew
cure
they
for
knew exactly
cancer.
what to do. They
You
there
can't tell me there's
you
not a
know there
cure
is.
for cancer.
You know there is. We both know there is. They just
They
again,
have
it's
a
that
cure
money.
for
That
cancer, but
money.
they're not releasing it to the public.
Because then that what good is that if people are not dropping dead left and right? Come on now. Come on
Right,
now.
right.
So going off of your conspiracy queen with like the going back to the Stone Age and stuff,
Mhm.
it's really weird that you bring that up considering there's a really popular anime called Doctor Stone that goes into that theory.
Hold on. Let me take notes. I'm gonna look into it.
Raw Nation
Right?
Anime Watch Night. Dr.
Yes,
Stone.
Yes.
we are doing that. That's happening. What is it
And
called
that's like
again?
Doctor Stone,
Dr. Stone.
or as we call it in our house when we decide to, have a little fun with it, Doctor Stoned.
Alright, I wrote it
But
down so I can look into it.
basically, the premise, without spoiling anything, super advanced, super advanced civilization in Japan. All of a
Mhm.
sudden,
No, it's like just kind of.
well, like us, I
Yeah.
guess. But
Yeah.
I would say we're pretty advanced.
We are, but
Yeah.
And it's in Japan, so they're more advanced than we are.
They
Anyways,
are.
so something happens. I'm not going to spoil what, but all of a
Mhm.
sudden, certain people wake up out of their sleep or whatever it may be. I'm not going to spoil.
Mhm.
Um, and you're back in the Stone Age.
Mhm.
And then you have people who have the knowledge of, oh, well, I know how to make nitrate, I know how to make gunpowder, I know how to make food, all that stuff, and you have to rebuild the civilization.
That's exactly what it is, and they say that the proof for it is between, like, all the stages that we've had the Ice Age, we've had, like, all these things happen, but explain how it happened.
Right.
It's very difficult to do. Now we have our polar ice cap. They're melting slowly but surely. They are, and we have our environment changing and everything else. And they're like, we are overdue. If it's a true theory, we are overdue for
Yep.
our flip.
If you think about it, what wasn't there? What wasn't around when the dinosaurs were around?
Exactly.
There wasn't any any snow. There wasn't any ice caps.
No.
It was all just gross, humid heat
Yes.
and lots of water.
Yes.
And what are we getting closer to as we sit here and talk about this?
Yeah.
Gross, humid heat, lots of water.
Yes. And again, it's one of those like to look through history of all the things that has happened, right?
Mm.
And like the dinosaurs, fine example. Um, to explain why every single one of them gone. Every single one. Very few, like
Wasn't it supposedly a meteor
that's what
Yeah.
that
they
came
said. Yeah.
down and
Meteor and it wiped everything off the planet. Every single thing, apparently.
I
Except for things in the water.
I don't
Yeah.
know if it technically wiped everything off the planet, but I think that
It took a lot. It
it
took a lot to fix
possibly
it. It changed
it
the
caused the ice
it,
age and stuff like that.
yeah, it's supposedly now, mind you, they also say that a volcano can do that.
yeah.
Right.
One of these major volcanoes that have not went off yet. Which one? A
People
volcano
are
just erupted? Papua New Guinea.
Yes,
There is one in the States that is due for a massive eruption too.
one in yes. Yep.
Yellowstone.
Yep. And
That one
apparently that
terrifies me.
Oh,
Not gonna lie, that one terrifies me. I'm not scared of a lot of things unless, it's a video game. But that, just the idea of what it can do
from what
out west.
I've read and seen, it will wipe out the planet's population if it explodes.
Mhm.
yes. I've heard of that one. It's a super volcano, and
Mhm.
supposedly, yeah, if it does erupt, it is big enough to wipe out a lot. Like maybe not the entire world,
But
but
majority.
a majority
So,
of it.
do
And
we
I
have any way to
believe that
stop that?
it is close to me.
A
I
Actually,
can't
giant
if I'm
cork.
not mistaken.
I
What if we
that's
like stabbed holes in the side of it and stopped like the pressure? You know?
I don't
We're just gonna send. We're gonna send all these Minecraft kids to dig in with buckets of water.
We need to
tell 'em
make some obsidian. We got to go to the Nether.
oh my god. Yeah,
But
no,
no, you know
just
what I
the
mean though. Like, what if we like relieve some of the pressure? Would that help or?
what gets to me is that we again with all the technology that we have and the things that they're working on and stuff like that, I'm like, why is this not a focus? And is that like they're testing, you know, but that's it. Like they're not actually like testing to figure out a solution to not have the entire,
Well,
population go bye-bye.
supposedly they found another planet similar to ours that can sustain life. It is a lot bigger than the Earth, but it has trees, grass, and stuff like that, and it can sustain life. And supposedly, they're working on ways to bring people there to populate that. But the thing is,
They're only gonna take, like,
if you don't
Kardashians
have the
to do
money,
this shit.
yeah,
Yeah.
you've
Well,
got
no,
to be
leave them
super
here.
rich because it's going to be probably millions of dollars to be able to be a part of that.
Right. It's
Yeah.
only
I
gonna be
wouldn't
the
mind
people
getting
with money.
voluntold for that.
Right?
Yeah.
That would be a crime. Be like, "You're
Look, I'm
going."
gonna tell you, most likely, people in the military and people high up in the government will be the first ones to
Mhm.
be able to
The
be a
There's
part
difference
of
with
one,
that.
that
like,
is,
vested
though,
ones.
is that won't happen in our lifetime.
No,
Not even
definitely
close.
not. Uh-uh.
I'm hoping that this volcano is not in our lifetime.
I
But
hope it's not in
Oh,
mine, my kids, or
okay.
my grandkids.
right.
After
Right.
that,
I hope that
I'd
they're
say
all
start.
gone before
Yeah.
that happens,
Exactly.
you know?
Exactly. I have my little prayers where I'm like, let them all, happy, fulfilling lives. And then after that, well, then I can't help it. I'll try in the spirit world to be protective, give all the good
Yeah.
juju and stuff.
You'll be in the spirit world.
Exactly. I'll
What
be in
does
the
it
spirit
matter
world.
then?
I
I'll be
have
swearing the shit out of them anyway, so it doesn't matter. I might take
Right.
them out before the volcano
You
can.
know what?
That's
Me and Queen are gonna be ghost besties, and we're going to haunt everybody.
Podcast time.
Haunt all of you.
we are. It's gonna be
so
great. And we're gonna take turns.
Did you
You'll
say
never know when
conspiracy
you're
theory
podcast?
on that.
did what?
So
Oh,
conspiracy theory on like the spirit world.
What's that?
The Earth that we live on is hell.
I wouldn't be
oh,
surprised.
I
I
absolutely
agree.
do believe that.
Yes.
Yes. I don't believe
And
that
this
there's
this is
actually a hell.
our
I think
test.
we live
If
in
you want to get
hell.
religious,
Our test, yeah.
yeah. If you want to be religious, this is like our test to see how we will react in certain situations.
If you ask my dad, I'm failing miserably.
Well,
Whoa,
Like he says,
whoa.
he does. He thinks I'm
Well,
failing.
I also believe that, there's also my belief that hell is actually a place where you have things that you really, really want, but they're just out of reach and you can never reach it. Or
So she had a theory.
repetitiveness, like doing the same thing over and over and over. That would
Well,
be a form of
the
hell for
show,
me.
the show like Lucifer, where you have to go through your bad deed or whatever got you there over and over and over
Mhm.
again. See,
Yep.
I like that show. It opened my eyes to a lot of shit. Whether it's true
Yeah.
or not, I don't care. I like the idea. I was like, this I can get on board with. Way
Right,
better
because
than
I don't
you
believe that
deserve
hell
in
is
hell
fire and
because,
brimstone. I don't believe hell is fire and brimstone. I don't believe that you're being tortured
correct.
constantly. I think your torture would be having the things that you want so bad just out of reach at all
Yeah.
times.
I also don't think that the devil is the one that makes you do a whole bunch of bad shit. I think
No.
that's just you.
Honestly, I think I think Lucifer was given a bad rap.
I do too.
I
I
think
I,
don't
I think his
I
job is
really don't
not
know. I
punishment,
just
but that's it.
I don't want to steal this from Gabs, and she can jump in if she wants, but she had a theory that heaven is hell and hell is heaven, and we've been told wrong.
That would
that's
I don't
interesting.
even. I don't even
skip.
remember how I explained it.
Basically, somebody manipulated us into thinking that hell is hell, or heaven is hell.
Saw this
Yeah.
somewhere. I remember that. Yeah. So there. I'm not trying to be controversial here. I don't even necessarily believe it. It was something that I saw. Um, that modern day religion or semi modern day has flipped the script as far as what each is and used it as a tool to reform people in their ideals, basically.
Mhm. Yes.
So, and the ideals of what is accepted in heaven versus hell and things like that. I don't remember a lot of the details, but it was basically that modern day religion had brainwashed a bunch of people into believing the opposite.
Sheeple.
Yep.
Sheep people. You're
I
following.
agree.
You're following blindly.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. I agree with that. And I think it's true.
It always had a complicated relationship with religion just because it was forced on me for so long.
Ditto. Hey, me, me
Girl.
too.
I don't identify one way or the other as far as that goes. I consider myself non-denominational. I believe that I don't have to go to a certain place to share with people what I believe in.
Agreed.
I believe that there's a higher power, whether it be one God, whether it be multiple gods, whatever.
Well, we just had this conversation
I'm
last
not
night.
trying to get into religion or anything, but I mean, look at Norse mythology, Greek mythology, all of that. They don't have one. They have multiple. So where did it come into fruition that there's only one and you can only worship or pray to one?
Preach.
This is the same conversation we just had last night before we went to bed. I believe that there is a higher power, but that higher power, I don't think, could do it all on their own, which is where you get all of these other gods from different, Norse mythology, Greek mythology, stuff like that. He's got right hand men or women, we don't know, that take care of what he needs taken care of or she needs taken care of, I'll say. And that's where you get all these other like religions and all of these other followings from the Greeks, the Norse and all that.
Oh yeah.
Not to make it religious, I believe in God, I do.
Yeah.
And that's, I'm okay with saying that out loud.
Mm-hmm.
But I do understand that not one person can take care of everything that happens.
No. You're giving too much credit to one person or one entity, however you want to look at it. That's just like the people who believe in the Big Bang Theory, that we were all created from one Big Bang. No. No. There's also a theory that we were created by aliens. That we were not created by a god or whatever, that aliens created us. And that's where the simulation theory comes in, that they are controlling us, they are experimenting on us, and we just don't realize it.
This all leads back to Rick and Morty, by the way. Everything we've talked about has been covered in Rick and Morty. I just put that down.
Try to watch that, and
a lot of cartoons have predicted stuff.
The Simpsons.
The
has predicted
Simpsons.
everything.
The Simpsons.
Futurama is our future.
And there was another one, South Park. There's so many of them that have predicted certain things. Like, I think, if I'm not mistaken, maybe 9/11 was somewhat predicted in The Simpsons, or something was predicted in The Simpsons.
The one thing that made me believe the Simpsons are time travelers is when Trump was president.
Yes.
That's
they
what
predicted
it was.
that in the 90s.
So
yes. And Trump had said that he would never run for president, and then all of a sudden, there he is running for president, and supposedly he did it as a joke, and he actually got it and wasn't expecting to actually win.
What were you gonna say, Burner?
So Sky's kind of losing her voice here. So
Oh.
she told me a conspiracy that she saw on TikTok that it's The Simpsons isn't predicting the future, they're defining it. So obviously the conspiracy of them being, time travelers, they're, setting things in motion by traveling to different points in time to push people in the direction that it shows that their show has already covered, whether it be 5 years ago, 3 months ago, 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And so the theory that she saw was literally them writing out history for us with their cartoon to basically prepare people for it to happen.
Yeah.
Okay. Question for everybody here. What is one conspiracy theory? And there's a lot that we, can believe in and stuff, but what is one that you, for a fact, believe in without a doubt, no matter what? Just one.
That the world ended in 2012
Okay.
and that our consciousness was shifted to another reality where we
Okay.
were living.
Heaven and hell aren't a separate plane. They're all one.
I like it. Burner?
As far as one that I 100% believe in,
Yes.
um,
Without a doubt.
so
Like you're like, this speaks to me. This is it. This is the
um,
one.
Project Bluebeam. It is. So it's one that's been discussed on like Reddit forums, conspiracy websites for ever now. And for those that don't quite know, I'll go over. I have a Times of India post that was translated. So the three purposes. Project Bluebeam is basically a giant project being worked on between all world powers to create a new world order, to create a unified planet instead of unified countries. The first purpose, and I'll read these word for word, to abolish all Christian and traditional religions in order to replace them with a one world religion based on the cult of man.
Yeah.
Purpose 2 is to abolish all national identities and national pride in order to establish a world identity and a world pride. And number 3 being to abolish the family as known today in order to replace them with individuals all working for the glory of the new one world government. So if I go off too far on a tangent here, you guys can feel free to stop me. Try to tie in all the conspiracies that kind of back this. The prediction of, The Simpsons and Futurama. As in Futurama, they're known as Earthicans, as they're all under one leader on Earth, and they don't have like, oh, I'm from India, I'm from Japan, I'm from the United States.
Mm-hmm.
The whistleblowers, as they were called, coming forward about aliens, kind of to distract from the fact that they're trying to set up something as if like a super volcano went off or aliens took over the planet to kind of unify people to a singular threat.
Mm-hmm.
We have all these religions that are so similar yet so different. Basically, if they were to go through with something like this, you can, hey, this isn't real, this is real. You can get everyone to believe, now that they're all unified, to a single religion, whether it be, Christian, Catholic, Norse, Hinduism, Buddhism, whatever it may be. Taking this plan into action, if it were to go through how the conspiracy pages have led to believe, basically will create a second coming or like a rapture, and everyone kind of sees the world ending. But then we take that, like we do with most tragedies, like especially here in the States where it gets a lot of coverage. It's usually to hide something out or to go, say, to war or to kind of unify people together.
Mhm.
Taking that instance where we're creating the second coming and unifying people of all nations to take down this one threat that's threatening not just one person
Mhm.
or one country.
Mhm.
And then, creating kind of like a giant family of people where we all have these different thoughts, we all have these different feelings. But now that we've gone through and taken care of this singular threat, we can see each other as brothers, sisters, our family, our extended family, no matter what you identify as, no matter what your previous religion was, we can all agree that we are people.
Right.
I kind of want to hear what your guys' thoughts are on that, or if you've even heard of it.
I mean, as long as I would get to keep my individuality and I can still like believe in what I want to believe in, I'm all for that. I think that's what the world should be anyways. Is everybody considering each other family or, respect one another. Like that's what's wrong with our world today is nobody respects the other person.
Well, I feel like we are all, everybody's related in one way or another. Um, I don't know. I think there's some kind of relation between every single person in the world, no matter how far down the line it is or whatever. Um,
I got a
no
conspiracy
matter
theory.
what color, religion, or whatever.
I think Joey's an alien.
Joey is an
I
alien.
believe that.
He's
Look, I
outside
100%
with the
believe
grill
that.
stuff and he's dancing like crazy at the window.
He's trying
So
to
it's an
distract
NPC.
you. Look,
Is he
see,
He
shirtless?
is,
what was
and
I
it's
saying?
working.
Look what this hand is doing while the other one's doing this. He's
Exactly.
trying
Is
to
he
distract you from
shirtless?
something.
That's the question. Does he have clothes on?
He does not have a shirt on, which
How
you
long?
got to see earlier.
How long's the flight to San Diego?
It's a long trip. It's a long trip. Worth it though. I mean,
Road trip.
I mean, it's a 24-hour drive from where I'm at to Cali. So
Yes.
maybe a 4-hour flight. I'll be
Okay.
I
there
think
soon.
You
I think
can't
you got
afford
this.
no layovers. it'll be 8.
Great shot.
All right.
Yes.
Gab, what's yours? What's your conspiracy theory that you believe in without a doubt?
I think that the human brain it evolves past what we are able to accomplish in our bodies, and I believe that even this planet has held life of our intelligence level several times, and we've always sabotaged to the point of virtual reset and like basically extinction of
No.
that level of technology.
Mm-hmm.
Like I saw one the other day that kind of helped to bring this to light was that Egyptians had control over electricity, and that's what they used the pyramids for. The stones in them actually contain a form of quartz
Mm-hmm.
that, when heated up, does produce electricity. I I I honestly think that we have or that humans have existed in several forms of intelligent eras, and there is always a constant reset, whether it be like the one that you said with the polar ice caps flipping or some sort of reset button.
I agree with that. I actually believe that 100% to a T. Because anything that I have looked up based on that,
Mhm.
It really comes down to the reset. There's always a reset of some sort. Now that they change depending on who you're talking to, but it does always come down to the you know, if you're gonna do that, you're gonna come and show everybody.
Well,
You're gonna come and show the world if you're gonna do that. I was in a
with the
thought and you screwed it up. Now you can
self-sabotaging,
come and
I
show it.
believe that humans
He
are very
literally,
bad about
with
self-sabotaging.
cheese, he has cheese in his hand. He comes right here and he goes, and then runs.
I need to see them titties.
I'm like, if you're gonna do it, you're gonna do it right here for the world to see.
Period.
Quit distracting me.
But yeah,
Dad, come
human
here.
beings are very well known for self-sabotaging and
Mhm.
stuff like
Dad,
that.
they
So,
said, Dad, come here.
I do
Come on,
believe
Dad.
that when we get a certain
Hold on.
amount of intelligence, that we don't
No, no, no,
how
no, no,
to
no. We're
deal
not
with
doing
it
that. You're gonna show
properly,
everybody
and
everything.
so we screw it all up.
You can show your
Unable
face
to handle it.
and the
And the fact
cheese
that people are
and the
starting to
cheese,
wake
so they
up
know I'm not lying. Show
Yeah.
the
to
cheese. There it is.
the things that are happening. He's crazy. But
He's
yeah,
crazy.
the people who are waking up, the woke people, as they say it,
Mhm.
they could very well self-sabotage, and we could be in the midst of a worldwide reset
Yep.
at this
The
point.
idea
So.
the idea of being woke is just the beginning of the end type
But
thing.
that could also tie into my conspiracy theory that we're being controlled, like a
Yeah.
game, and
Mhm.
that they're going to hit that reset button and start the game all over.
See if they can do it better.
Right. Like
Roy
we
too.
do with our games. Like if
Yeah.
we screw up on our
Redo.
game, what do? We reset and we start over
Yep.
I
to
would
see if
love
we
to
can
see
do
this.
it right the second time
Just
around.
wonder if they rage like we do.
Oh, I'm
That
sure
would
they
be
do.
wonderful to
I'm sure they're sitting there listening to our podcast right now, watching us do
Man,
our podcast, and they're like, "Oh my God, this is not going the way I wanted it. Reset!"
Sons of
the
bitches.
person controlling me as a character, they're probably like, why doesn't he go out and get a fucking job? Why does he sit at his computer all day?
Dude's
This dude's
Oh,
garbage. I want to reset.
oh God.
Mine
All
would
right,
be like,
so
why did this bitch just work 106 hours
We're all just
last
Sims.
week? What the hell is wrong with her?
yep.
This
Why
is
do
the
these
Sim
people
5.
keep living with their roommates? Like, live on your own for once. Jesus.
I just know like whoever's controlling mine is livid because I've been lazy as fuck, like doing
Where's,
nothing. Just
where's my green
I
diamond
don't
above
want
my
to.
head?
Yeah. We're the Sims.
The Sims 5.
Let's go.
Yeah.
So Wicked, you said you had another one, didn't you? Topic, not topic. Conspiracy theory, or did you go
Well,
through yours?
well, mine, like I said, mine is black holes and white holes, and so we all know what a black hole is. Black holes suck everything in, destroy it. Supposedly, you cannot survive
Also,
entering
Joey's
a
butt.
black hole.
Yep.
But there is a conspiracy theory that a black hole ties into a white hole, where you can go into that black
Eating a
hole
wormhole.
and
This
you
could get
travel
creepy.
through it, and then you come out the other end of the white hole that pushes everything out, and that you could come out in a different time or a different period, which ties into time travel and interdimensional travel and stuff like that. So, I mean, do y'all believe in time travel and interdimensional travel and stuff like that?
It's like the episode of South Park where they ate through their butts.
What?
What?
No, there was an episode of South Park, and I don't know why this clicked, but
Oh,
They-
yep. No, I know what you're talking about now.
it was a
Where they
huge
eat-
health craze. They were eating through their butts or a black hole, and then poop would come out of their mouth or the white hole.
Okay.
I don't know why that clicked. It was such a random thought, and I apologize. But
It's okay.
as far as
To answer your question, yes, I do believe in what you just said.
Yeah.
My
So,
thing with wormhole though is when you come out the other side, civilization as you know it's changed.
Yeah.
It's
You're-
progressed like thousands upon
Well-
thousands of years.
Well, that's what
More
I'm saying as far as time travel. It's a certain point in time where you come out possibly in the past, but most likely in the future.
Do
Whether
you
it
believe?
be 5 years in the future, 10 years in the future, and then the fact that we're having these glitches in the Matrix, time that comes into time travel. That if people are time traveling, they are messing with our time and our timelines and stuff like that. We were never meant to time travel. I just don't believe that we were meant to time travel. And if people are, they're messing with the timelines and
It's the butterfly effect.
the butterfly effect, exactly.
Butterfly effect.
So when people are noticing these glitches, like there was one guy who took a video where he was watching a guy in a car, and in the mirror he could see this guy's head moving and all that, but at looking straight at the guy in the car, he wasn't moving at all. But in the mirror, he was moving, looking all around, but he was looking straight ahead.
It's like the little girl creepy videos of like the little girl standing in front of the mirror and like she looks back at like the camera or whatever, and then
The
the
reflection's
reflection
still
there.
does
looking at
something.
her.
Yeah,
And then there was another one where this woman was like stuck in place. Like she was walking, and then all of a sudden she stops in mid stride. And then she starts walking again, and she kind of looks around like, what the hell just happened? But this person caught it on video. I mean, understandably, it could have been messed with, but at the same time, that's what we're made to believe, that not everything you see on the internet is real. But what if a lot of the stuff that you do see is real?
they reset their router. That's what that is.
And then there was also a video of a bird like
Not moving in the air.
suspended
I
in
saw that
air.
one.
Yep.
Dude, I'm gonna
I've
tell
seen
you,
that.
I saw a plane, like an airplane, going through the sky, and then all of a sudden it was not moving. Like this happened to me in real life. Like I was watching it, and then all of a sudden it was just sitting there, and someone tried to explain it as they were just going so slow that it looked like they weren't moving. I just don't believe that. That's not
They have to keep a certain
that's not
velocity
plausible.
moving forward to stay airborne.
In the air,
That's
right.
what I'm saying. So how did this plane just sit there suspended in the air, not moving? That's weird to me.
There was an internet outage in the area at that point. So
Yeah, right.
The Egyptians had to reset their pyramids.
what?
Yeah, they
rebuild them real
They
quick.
had to they had to move a block back into place. It was shifted. It was a strong wind.
Does Sky have one that she absolutely believes in without a doubt?
Not that she can think of offhand.
Okay. Well, I follow this guy that watches these TikToks of conspiracy theories. And there was one that I clicked on, I'm hoping it's the right one, that I could not I like so many of what we've talked about is in these. And he tries to explain like how he feels about it. He doesn't have a lot of opinions, but he's like some of them he's like I can absolutely see that. Or others he's just like that's a stretch. Like I don't know about all that. But there's so many. There's so many. I didn't realize like as a kid you hear about the aliens and stuff like that, but like the amount of conspiracy theories that are out there are absolutely insane.
Yep.
Yeah.
Two,
And so many of them tie together. Like if you went down each and every rabbit hole that you could think of for a conspiracy theory, just to
right.
tie them together, there are so many that would just every single part of it clicks.
So I wanted y'all. We're kind of gonna do like a little reaction, see what y'all think. They say creepy, but again, these are all just the theories. So let's see.
We're gonna be watching some creepy TikToks that'll make you question reality. So let's get right into it.
Dark web footage that got leaked.
This one is creepy. Again, there's more coming, I promise. And if y'all want me to pause, let me know.
Yo. That was weird. Was
That's
that
why I don't
from a
like
movie?
clowns.
That looked like it was from a movie, maybe.
There's a CIA document that came out. There's a CIA document that came out. Everybody just started talking about it now. It's called the Adam and Eve story. It basically explains how the world is gonna end. Has it been true? It makes sense. They say the world is gonna end because the poles, like North and South Pole, they shift every
What I was talking
12,000 to
about.
15,000 years. And once they shift, it causes like a giant apocalypse. Big earthquakes,
Younger
giant
Dryas.
tsunamis. Once the apocalypse happens, we go right back to the Stone Age. And it said that our first humans, like as us, it was 10,000 years ago. So if you think about it, 10,000 years ago, we're in year 2000. We're at 12,000 years right now. And now you see like global warming and shit like that. Like in the book, it says that we are the sixth civilization that came out of the apocalypse. So we just get to a certain point in life and then it just hard reset. And that explains a lot because remember how you were saying that the Sahara Desert used to be green and like the Antarctica used to have forests and shit like that? That's what happens. Like it switches everything, it flips. So now like some places turn cold, some places turn hot. That's why they was talking about like the flood in the Bible and shit like that. That's probably what happened to Atlantis and shit
I was
like
just
that.
about to say Atlantis. It would make sense for a city in the water if the water wasn't there before.
Yeah, I think that's called the Younger Dryas impact theory. Civilization gets reset every couple of thousand years.
Y'all, I am freaking out right now. There's a lot of unexplained things going on in the ocean right now. Hold on real quick. I do not trust them. Just watch this real quick for me.
You get to Mars by going through the ocean. You can't get to the bottom of the ocean because outer space is the ocean.
Now, what she just said just blew my mind. Now, there's a situation called the firmament. So we know that water is all around us. And it is said that this dome divided the sea into upper and lower sections. You can't cancel this out because they still haven't discovered 80% of the sea. Early civilizations believed that the ocean and the stars above were linked. I mean, just look. Mayan, Norse, Hindu, Hebrew, all of them. Now, we already know what spacesuits look like, but they look exactly like sea suits. I know once in your life you've heard of the Bermuda Triangle. Planes and people going missing in the ocean. There are black holes in the ocean. And I just know once in your life you've heard about sea monsters. When you see a comet, it looks like a boat soaring through water. What if these unexplained species in the ocean are actually aliens? If y'all have ever watched this movie Underwater, they went too deep and found the creature that don't even look like it's supposed to be from this earth. Or could it have just been a creature from space? Now you can say what you want, but I bet you we are not the only beings, only species, only creatures that are in this universe. It's just ironic that when they return to Earth, they're on water. I mean, I know I'm not tripping. And I know y'all heard of mermaids. So many unexplained things in the ocean. They're making more discoveries in space. Not really putting too much money or caring about what's going on the planet. Why? Because this sea stuff might have a lot of connections to space. And they not telling us. Y'all be safe, and I know I'm not the only person who feel this way.
I think they say.
Okay, so what do we think? This is where I got intrigued. As you can see, this is what started it.
Right.
And I was like, I had never heard of that one before.
It's a good theory. I mean,
it's very interesting with
it is.
the way she explained it too, I think. Now, but what do y'all think? What do y'all think about that? So
I
far.
mean, the comet thing, like that makes sense because she's not wrong. You look,
Right.
you see a shooting star or a comet, it does look like somebody treading through water.
Right.
Yeah.
It's crazy. All right, we will continue. There's more.
A like crazy number, like 80% of the ocean is still unexplored?
Jesus Christ, the Adam and Eve video. I watched a video on that this morning. There could be a time where the magnetic poles actually shift.
This is science. They say that the last one was like 778,000 years ago, and we're like something like 200,000 years overdue. But the Adam and Eve story, the theory of that is that it happens in cycles of 6,500 years, and that it's a 90-degree flip, but 6 days later, or on the 7th day, it corrects itself. Planet flips. Correct. It's a planet flip 90-degree, and that because of it, the Earth essentially does a standstill. The sun will be basically stay in the same spot, causing heating like we've never experienced, and that the wind and the waters continue with their momentum, because essentially the wind travels at approximately 1,000 miles an hour at the equator. So the theory is that when that event happens, it's going to be cataclysmic. And
I'm telling you, that younger dryas impact theory, everything. There's caverns and rivers inside the planet that have not been discovered. Google this if you don't believe me, and they think there's species of animals that evolved without sunlight, and they're in those cave systems and we've never seen them.
What's a conspiracy theory?
Now, see, remember Wicked, Nate had talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I wish he would have been in here, because he had that conspiracy theory, but in so much more detail, because he has done a deep dive on it. And he believes that there are creatures and stuff that, like the what are they
A
called?
tunnel system and
A
stuff.
tunnel system. The something walkers? What are they called?
Skinwalkers.
Yeah, skinwalkers and stuff like that. He thinks that they are absolutely real, but that's where they live. And he's like, there's cave systems and stuff that have never been discovered.
There's a
And
lot about our planet that has not been discovered.
mm-hmm. So that was an interesting one too. All right, we're gonna continue.
Theory that absolutely blows your mind.
Hang on, I have the perfect one. On March 8th, 2014, Flight 370 from Malaysia mysteriously vanished. Disappeared from every single radar, was just gone without a trace. So, on March 18th, a guy named Ty uploaded a video to Twitter of what seemed to be a voicemail from Flight 370. The code was in the NATO phonetic alphabet, which read, S, danger, SOS, it is dire for you to evacuate. Be caution, they are not human. Whole bunch of numbers, SOS, danger, SOS. So naturally, this drew a lot of attention. Twitter was freaking out. Someone found that if you put the numbers from the voicemail into Google Earth, that they were actually coordinates and gave you a location. This location just so happened to be the last known location of Flight 370 from Malaysia. The recording that Ty received was actually the black box recording from Flight 370. After Ty posted the video and drew a bunch of attention, some weird stuff started happening to him. More in part 2.
Yo, that's crazy if that's true. I think that gave me chills.
I just found out some really disturbing things about Ellen DeGenerate, and I'm not worried about that creepy sweatshirt she's wearing. But as we watch this video, the camera creeps inside of her house, and you can see that weird evil thoughts picture. I looked up the artist, and he's into some really satanic stuff. And that's not even the weird thing. Look at this picture of Ellen sitting inside of her home. This is the picture that was right behind her. Now look at the letters on top. These are the same letters that you write out during satanic rituals. Look at this picture of her cutting her mother's hair. Now look at the picture above her head and try and figure it out. Oh my goodness.
Multiple celebrities have said that she's a bit crazy and mean, so I believe she could be satanic or something.
What's a conspiracy theory that you 1,000% believe in?
I know I'm going to lose followers for this, but I don't care. This is definitely the craziest conspiracy theory I believe in, and I'm going to let him say it.
Google was set up 18, 19 years ago. I knew about this before it was declassified. I'm just saying I have good sources. That they wanted to build a giant artificial system. And Google believes that the first artificial intelligence will be a supercomputer based on the neuron activities of the hive mind of humanity, with billions of people wired into it with the Internet of Things. And so all of our thoughts go into it, and we're actually building a computer that has real neurons in real time that's also psychically connected to us, that are organic creatures, so that they will have current prediction powers, future prediction powers, a true crystal ball. But the big secret is, once you have a crystal ball and know the future, you can add stimuli beforehand and make decisions that control the future.
He's always got some crazy
Now, what do we think of that?
That's kind of similar. The hive mind is kind of similar to the brain in the vat theory.
Yes. That's what I was thinking too, and I was
But
like,
a hive
Almost like
mind
a
is
spin-off.
of a bunch of different ones working together as one, kind of like a colony of bees.
Right.
They all work together as one.
Mm-hmm. All right.
It's interesting.
By the way, before we continue, I just wanted to show y'all my food that Joey made me.
Where's mine?
I would share. I so would share. I thought that was like it's worthy. It needed to be shown. It smells fucking phenomenal.
What is it?
It is chicken quesadillas grilled on the outside grill, the flat.
Yum.
And then he made a sauce to go with it.
Hell yeah.
All right.
My dad can cook and not microwave things.
Yes.
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Yeah, sometimes. It's a hit or miss, but this was a hit. This was good. All right, we're gonna continue now. So again, most of them are theories. Some of them might not be. So I apologize ahead of time.
It's okay.
But they're theories, man. But a lot of them come true for some reason.
Does anyone want to tell me how in 1927 Universal Studios came up with this picture of the world? When the first picture of the world wasn't available until the 1960s through NASA? Almost 40 years later? How did Universal Studios know that this is what the world looked like? Especially from space, when we hadn't been to space yet. Does anyone know? Anyone want to guess?
My best guess is that maybe they just guessed, or they had some technology that we don't know anything about.
All right, what'd you say, Wicked?
I said, are we sure that the Earth actually looks like that? I mean, there's the theories that we've never actually been to space.
That's true.
I do believe that.
I mean, does it really look like that?
Good question. Oh.
Everybody sees me walking.
This
I'm
goes
walking.
with what Wicked said.
Look. This plane.
That's what I'm talking about.
Isn't moving.
You hear it.
It's not moving.
Yeah. You hear it, but it's not moving.
Is that a flag connected to the back of it?
Like it's moving.
Yeah. And it's not flowing or anything. It's just sitting there.
Wow.
You know that the secret of Air Force readiness and lethality is
But
continuous
no,
technology
I saw
upgrades,
that, for real.
new components extended.
I mean, there could be some kind of an explanation for it, but whether I believe that explanation, I don't know. But there ain't no freaking way that an airplane can just sit still in the air like that. It defies gravity.
Mm-hmm.
It
By
can't.
the way, I petition that we all need to make aluminum foil hats and start wearing them.
Yes. We were actually
I forgot about the idea.
we talked about doing that for this podcast and surprising you guys.
It should be done. We all need to do it,
great.
and it would have been great. I would have been like, wait a minute, and go make my own.
Yeah, exactly. I got aluminum foil in the kitchen. Don't play with me.
I'm just saying. I'm like,
I'll even put an alfalfa spout on it. Let's go.
All right, here we go.
Nothing.
Oh.
Is it playing?
Yeah. Is it not working for you guys?
No.
It's not working for
Oh, wait,
her.
there it
She has
goes.
an ad.
There it goes.
Uh-oh. All right, you ready?
Yeah, press play.
Okay.
Gas industries are doing everything they can to stop people from inventing things like this. I think they're also stopping the advancement of just regular combustion engines and their mileage. I find it very strange that outside of going to a hybrid or an electric vehicle, that the overall gas mileage of engines really has not changed in many, many decades. Considering how much things have gotten advanced in everything else in society, I don't think it's really that possible that there's no way big companies like Toyota or Honda or Ford can't find a way to have an engine that's not a hybrid or electric that can add more mileage to a vehicle. But everyone knows this is true, and this is another thing that nobody steps up and does anything about because they're scared they're also going to go get whacked off.
Yeah, I had actually heard about this guy. He did invent an engine that could run off of water.
Crazy.
They did the same thing with
I've seen the
Nikola
blueprints.
Tesla. He tried creating free energy, and the big energy companies didn't like that.
Now,
What do we think of
granted, I don't think, with depleting water supplies all over, I don't know if a water-based engine would necessarily be the greatest advancement we've ever come up with, but it's an alternative, and it
Correct.
opens the door to knowing there could be and probably are more alternatives.
Algae.
Yeah, that's one that basically got halted in place. That was a big thing. What was it, like 3 or 4 years ago? Algae was the next biofuel. It could be mass produced very quickly, and
What happened to it?
I haven't heard a single thing since I read one article on it. Not even what I read one article, and I couldn't find anything else anywhere on it.
I'm telling you, they don't want us to do shit. That money is everything.
I've seen a blueprint, so they got whacked off. I have seen a blueprint similar to that, not the original blueprint or design, but I've seen one with the same concept. I was working security. I was trying to make some extra money while I was in the military, and I was working for a high-end, like military production, like the big brains above everything that are designing things. And I was supposed to go in and check the rooms. I had gone into one. They didn't put up the do not check sign or the do not enter sign. I have seen a blueprint that is similar to what he described.
Didn't you also say you saw the blueprints for like nuclear defense systems that aren't even real yet?
Oh, like nuclear defense satellites. So like the giant death laser that they teased on like Navy ships.
Now we're all gonna get whacked
Are
off.
you allowed to talking about this?
He's not in the Navy anymore, or military.
Yeah, but
Hey,
still,
listen,
is he allowed?
He's not under contract.
Hey, listen, right? You guys can, whoever's viewing this video, if you want to come whack me off, go ahead.
No, we need you for future podcasts.
Hey,
Excuse me?
whoa! I wasn't gonna die.
Just Men in Black, like white light, erase my mind.
No. I'm
That's
not gonna wear my
amazing.
camping
Y'all
bed.
believe in the Men in Black?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
I do too. I do too.
Burner's just looking for a very pleasurable experience, okay? As he said, he just won't wear his pants to bed that night.
Oh my.
Give me like an email or something. I'll check it eventually.
All right, we're ready for the rest of the video.
Yes,
My
ma'am.
response: no one's home.
Rihanna made a horrible mistake at her halftime show by reinforcing the crazy conspiracy theory that the Super Bowl is actually a live satanic ritual hosted by the elites to show off their power and influence to the peasants watching. And that every year the performer must flash the crowd a demonic or evil symbol of the Illuminati if they want to perform. Beyonce put up the same exact symbol to the crowd at her Super Bowl halftime show and was all over the news the next day for it.
Conspiracy theorists believe that Beyonce signaled that she's part of a secret society bent on world domination.
Some claim that's just the Rock Nation symbol, but why would other celebrities who aren't affiliated with Rock Nation at all flash it? Stop making excuses for them! At Justin Timberlake's 2018 show, he had a giant silhouette of Satan laughing at the crowd with his tail. They played it off like a guy playing the guitar. At Madonna's 2012 show, she was moving her body to show symbolism and wearing the Illuminati owl crown on her head. This was insane. J-Lo's costume was showing this evil satanic goat, and she was showing the horns with her head too. Look at her costume though. You can't tell me those are 2 eyes and a nose and then antlers going up. The Weeknd's dancers are literally wearing such similar outfits to the exact same ones they would do in a satanic ritual. You can't tell me that whole thing didn't look demonic as hell. Literally. Before I show you the craziest part, make sure you follow so you finally know the craziest conspiracy theories about each of these celebrities and be in the know and request who you want to see next. Have you ever wondered why the Super Bowl is even called the Super Bowl? Because if you just move over the B, it actually spells superb owl, which is the... Seriously though, the same exact demonic owl that Madonna was wearing on her head and one of the main species of animals that symbolizes satanic worship.
Hollywood been on some crazy stuff, bro. They do be doing some weird-ish.
So what do y'all think of that?
I have noticed how they put up the symbol and stuff like that. That was one that I had actually
Could be.
watched and read about. I don't know. I mean, there's so many conspiracies about the Illuminati and all that that I don't know. I mean, I've heard some pretty gross and disturbing things about what these people do.
The really weird thing with that too is like the University of Ohio State. Their, whenever they play football, their symbol is this.
Mm-hmm.
But they claim that they're making the O
Right.
for Ohio State.
That's not an
But
O when you make
yeah,
Right.
and I don't know. It's one of those things too. Like, it's just weird that they have the same symbol as said Illuminati.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
The Illuminati is real.
Where I think the problem lies, though, is that they're using the word satanic, right? And not that I don't think they're not doing fucked up shit,
Right.
but I think it's another another Christianity brainwashing technique.
Where the
like
fuck
they
did
did
your
with
hands
D&D.
go?
You have long arms. It's a long shirt. Okay?
It is a type of religion. That is a fact.
I have a problem with the wording. I don't necessarily have a problem with what they're trying to portray.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I do have a problem with that, but I know there's fucked up shit everywhere. So
Just look at our planet.
I hear you. All right, here we go.
Check this out. Disney. Do you know why Disney characters
This is what
wear
I was
gloves?
talking to y'all about.
No. Why? Check this out. The gloves Disney characters wear.
Yeah.
It's resemblance to
Disney characters don't have gloves on, bro.
What are you talking about? Disney characters don't have gloves.
Like, what do you mean? Like the princesses?
No, look at Mickey.
Oh, okay, Mickey. Who
Goofy, whoever's in that crew.
Okay, so
they
just
wear
that
gloves.
crew.
They wear
Okay,
gloves,
okay.
right? You know why?
Why?
Watch this.
Why? Why do they wear gloves? They're all murderers.
Check this shit out.
They're mass murderers.
Boom. Okay. So you're familiar with those gloves, right?
Yeah.
Mickey's wearing those gloves. It has like the 3 lines on it.
The infamous.
Yeah, the infamous gloves. Interesting. Why those gloves and why those 3 lines?
Okay.
Check this out. These gloves are the same gloves of the Freemasons.
No!
Of the Freemasons, bro.
No!
Crazy.
No
Crazy.
way.
That's why Mickey and all those random characters on Disney, fam, they all wear those gloves, bruh. No. Look at it. Those are the Freemason gloves. That's why they have the 3 lines on it. Specifically those 3 lines. Where have we ever...
Disney has always had a lot of weird symbolism in it, so doesn't surprise me.
Okay, so that was what I was trying to tell y'all, but like I said, I could have screwed that up very easily. I didn't even remember what the name of it was, but what do y'all think? Do y'all think that's a stretch?
No.
I don't know.
No?
I don't know.
You think that's true? Like that's exactly
I think there could be grounds for original Disney being an indoctrination program. Like
I always wondered why they wore gloves to begin with. I was like, is it
They
like
killed off a character for asking about it.
I mean, I guess if you think about it, they're starting them out as kids, like you said, indoctrinating.
Yeah.
Kids' minds are so
malleable,
easy to mold and easy to brainwash. Because kids aren't born with
preconceptions.
Exactly. Like racism is taught, this, that, and the other is taught. So they weren't born with these thoughts and feelings, but they are taught these thoughts and feelings.
That can also lead into like you said, kids. Their brains are very malleable.
Impressionable.
And it's like that big thing that happened a couple years back when people on YouTube started uploading videos of like Peppa Pig, and then Peppa Pig would look at the children and be like, "Kill your family."
Oh my god, I remember when that was happening. That shit was
Mm-hmm.
insane.
Momo.
Dude,
Momo.
I did the thing to Wicked, the little Momo smile. She did not like it at all.
Wait, what?
well, there was another video that was going around about this guy who would come across on kids' YouTube, and like it would start out as a really cute children's video for like the first 5 to 10 minutes, and when the parents are like, "Oh, this is a good video," and they walk away, then all of a sudden this guy comes on and he's like, "If you want to hurt yourself, do it do it this way instead of this way."
That
And
same guy is the
different
one that
stuff
did the
like
Peppa Pig
that.
videos.
Yeah.
That same guy is the same guy that did the Peppa Pig videos, and that shit had me fucked up.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, it's so dark.
Well, there's the conspiracy, or not really a conspiracy theory, but there was things going around about the Talking Angela app, which is like Talking Tom, but it's the
Yes.
female version. And supposedly there was a little girl who had Talking Angela, and all of a sudden Talking Angela starts talking in like this really weird robotic voice, and she's like, where do you live? What school do you go to? What's your brother's name? Where's he at? This, that, and the other. And the parents were like, okay, this is not cool. Like, yeah, we're getting rid of this. But people can hack into those systems and stuff, and that is how kidnapping, abductions, kidnapping, trafficking, stuff like that. Just different things. Technology is more trouble than it's worth, honestly, nowadays, especially for our kids. Our kids are not safe with the internet and all this technology and stuff like that. That's why you've got to have boundaries and stuff with your kids when it comes to certain things.
Agreed.
As somebody who's going into the field, programmers and those who make the backbones for these things are given far too much freedom for not having frequent psych evals. I'm telling you that right now.
Yep.
Really?
It's the same.
Oh, yeah.
They would need similar or even better like psych evals than like people who go to buy like guns and stuff.
I disagree with that.
I mean,
I'm just saying, when it comes to the internet, you could reach so many more people, so many more minds, and even people with mental health issues, their minds are so much more impressionable than someone who doesn't have those mental health issues or something like that. I mean, think of someone who has schizophrenia or bipolar disorder or something like that. Their perception of reality is already very messed up.
My sister has
So
schizophrenia, so
my
I know all about that.
my son has bipolar with psychosis. So he sees and hears things sometimes that are not there. Um and he's very, very impressionable. To him, if he sees something on the internet, that is it. That is final. That's how it is, you know? And it's very scary. So you got to be careful with what you put out on the internet, whether you put it out as a joke or whether you're putting it out to try to see if you can make people believe these things, you know? People with mental health issues very easily believe things quicker than others.
Yep. Another way that the human species has evolved past what they are currently able to process and handle accordingly.
Right.
For sure. All right, we're
So,
ready to. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
real quick regarding the last TikTok, have any of you ever met a Freemason or someone who claims to be a Freemason?
I honestly don't even know what Freemasons are.
No.
If you
So
elaborate on what a Freemason is.
so from my understanding, I had this guy in my platoon who, when asked about his religious beliefs, would not tell us. He said we had to guess. Uh, one of my friends at the time had asked about him being a Freemason, and he pulls everyone that's standing in our little group because we're outside smoking. He pulls us into the office. We clear the office out, and we shut the door, and he soundproofs it. And the one of the biggest things from what he told us is he can't give out information that we don't already know. So if you ask about something and it's, word for word, then, he can confirm that. He can go into detail about it because you already have prior knowledge. So, they have like a ranking system that they go through, and there's 32 of them. So he had claimed to be whatever the 27th echelon is. Basically, you go through, they give you a task to complete your passage on to the next stage. And whenever you're ready, you tell them that you're ready, and it has to be done like immediately. So it can be anything from simple theft to murder. So we asked, I didn't ask because I had no prior knowledge. So our friend asked about whatever stage it was about murdering someone, and he said that he has killed, and that the group that he's a part of, because they kind of assemble in this church, helped him cover up the murder so that there was no trace. It looked like someone went overboard on whatever it was. I don't remember all the details, but it's super interesting to listen when someone knows, because like he said, that he can't go into detail unless we already know the details.
That's crazy.
But we had like a 2.5 hour conversation on just different, like all the different echelons of tasks that he's had to go through.
I love hearing about like cult history because that's in theory this is a cult.
Yeah, it's cult. Yeah, for sure.
I've always wondered what type of place you had to get to look at this and be like, yeah, that's something for me. Like this is definitely something I could get into.
Yeah.
It
I agree with that.
comes into, for me, people who join cults and all that, I feel like they have some sort of mental issues,
Right.
which makes their brains much more impressionable. Like
It gives me the other idea
blindly follow somebody, kind of like Charles Manson, how all of his people just followed him and did everything he told them to do. Like the leaders have some sort of charisma. Like they're really good at making people feel special and stuff
I
like
agree with
that.
that to a degree, but it gives me the sheep-like mentality that you were speaking
Sheeple.
of before. It is exactly that.
The blind
But
following the blind.
blind following the blind, but they're hearing what they want to hear. They're getting something out of it, whether it makes them feel special, like you said, or anything like that. I feel like these are people that are not leaders but followers. And even the person that they're following, or multiple people, it's not always just one person, but they're not true leaders either. That's a power trip, in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
Once they see, like, oh my goodness, there's this amount of people that are just listen to anything I say, they go and run with it.
These people who are
And
super willing to drink the Kool-Aid, you know?
exactly. And it blows my mind because, well, of course, when we watch it, like, there's been documentaries on. I feel like that should be a topic for a podcast. Everybody brings a story to the table of
A cult.
a cult. I love it. But yes, I feel
And
like when you see these stories, of course, we're like, oh my God, why would you do that? But these are not the same kind of people. They're very, very different. They're in totally different situations, and they
They're
are,
unstable.
yeah,
Something
they're very
wrong.
much so. They're looking for
And-
something that they definitely will not find in such a situation, but they think they will. They think this is the answer. This is it.
They want to
And
feel
I
like
think,
they belong somewhere, and
Mhm.
these people and these groups make them feel special, like
Right.
they are,
They have a
like they
purpose.
belong. They have a
Mhm.
purpose. Exactly. Everybody wants to feel like they have some kind of a purpose.
They
And
always get a promise. If you've noticed in any cult, there's
Right.
some sort of promise of some
right.
kind.
Oh,
Whether you will be a prophet, or you will be a millionaire, or this is all your answers. You'll never have to work a day in your life again. Like, whatever the case may be, there's
We
always a
here
promise.
we here at Raw Nation would like you all to join our cult.
so
Use code
one
Nation to check out.
Yeah.
one last thing. So he says that they find you. So they study you from a very young age, and he said that they'll follow you if you start going down a path of self-destruction. They they'll find you, they'll reach out to you, and they will grant what seems like empty promises, is his exact words.
Because they
To
market as a self-improvement group. Yep.
and being watched from a young age and having someone come up to you when you're like 17, 18, like he said he met, his family that way. He's been with his wife at the time for so many years, and she knows about everything. She doesn't follow everything, but she's allowed to know because she's gone out and found the information, and he was able to tell her.
Creepy. Am I the only one that finds
Weird.
that
That's
fucking
not okay.
creepy?
That is not normal.
I
But
swear to God, if I find out somebody's been following that, you better not let me find out, because then I'm going to jail. That's
We throw
How are
a
you
exactly
gonna
what
how are
can.
you gonna be okay with your significant other murdering somebody?
that's what I'm saying. That's not
Like,
okay.
And what makes you think if they do that you can't be next? What if they say your significant other is the next
so
person that needs to go?
so
Right.
Then what?
So are you
the
going to blindly follow direction and get rid of your significant other?
so
I mean,
the last echelon, from my understanding, he wasn't able to confirm or deny because we didn't use exact words, was to sacrifice your firstborn child. Was the last echelon.
No. 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 Absolutely the fuck not.
Sacrificing them for the cult, for security in the group. so that they can't just one day go, hey, yeah, so you're not working out.
They can suck it. A big one.
Okay, my question is, if they're not willing to do that, then what happens?
I think they get taken out.
There's no way they don't get
They
taken
run.
out.
Yeah.
They
'cause
run
they
the
have too much
risk.
information. Oh,
They
sorry.
have to say they're ready. They have to tell the leader of their group that, hey, I'm ready for the next test.
Mm-hmm.
So, in theory,
You could never
whether
say you're ready.
even if it were joking, it is taken at 100% face value. Like, yeah, I'm gonna go up and be like, yeah, I'm ready for this. Like, if someone hears that, it gets reported up and they
Yeah,
have
once
to
you
be
say
ready.
it, it's done. It's written in stone. You have to do it.
Right.
That's not okay. No.
It was. So at the time, I was like 18, 19. It was a really just thought-provoking conversation to have with someone, and a small group of people that were there to experience that type of, like, just kind of gaining knowledge on a subject that not a lot of people really even hear about.
Mm-hmm. That's
People who are okay with doing that are not okay. They're not okay in the head.
there's a lot to unpack on that one. Like I said, we definitely need to do a podcast with
Cults.
because there's a whole bunch. Like everybody could pick a topic of just that, and we could fill up 2.5 hours easy.
Yeah.
Of
Easily.
just the ideas and thoughts through all of that.
With that, if we're gonna actually do that, we should make a group chat on Discord and everybody put in what they're doing so we don't have doubled.
That's good.
Agreed. Agreed. I think that's what we're going to be planning on because
Fair.
we're going to talk about that again because I got so much, but we don't have enough time.
No.
But I got a lot. I got a lot on that one because there's just so much. Like what? Let me not start. Let me not start because if I start, I won't
If
stop. But
going
we
through
will
with that
be.
podcast, I'll probably do that one unless someone else claims it.
Oh no, you're definitely gonna be there because you're
Oh,
gonna bring this right back up because we are gonna
you're
talk
talking about
it.
the Freemasons?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Freemasons is yours.
Easy. Yeah, it's yours. Ain't nobody taking that one. Cause I don't know, and I've never heard about it till now. So it's definitely something that I'm interested in to hear about.
It's giving me
But
goosebumps thinking about the conversation again.
see that
I
says
would
something
have
too
goosebumps
because
Like,
about that. You're standing in the presence of someone you know has
done
killed,
terrible things.
murdered
Yeah.
somebody, just to reach a higher level.
Mm-hmm.
to gain
Not
security in a group that basically stalked him from a young age.
Right. That's creepy.
It's insane. Like
Okay.
that's just not.
Let's not talk anymore about it
I took the liberty of making the DM.
Ah,
chat
ha,
you
yeah,
guys.
that's what that is.
Guy just said, well, isn't that just the military?
What?
No.
That's there is
Sorry.
something to that. We're going to talk about that.
I mean, yeah,
Ooh.
I guess if you want to think
You know what I
about
mean?
it,
There
the
is
military
is
gives you
something
the
to that.
permission to
There's
take
some
a human
similarities
life.
there that we're
There
not
is.
talking about.
There, but we're going to.
Well,
We're
it
gonna
it
talk
just
about it. We're gonna open
yeah,
it.
yeah. Mm,
But it is about that time we have to raid out.
yes.
But before we do, for one, I want to thank y'all for being here with us because this was awesome.
Hell yeah.
Thank
I
you
was
for
so
another
psyched.
spectacular
Oh,
podcast, you two.
Oh, thank you. We try.
let
We
me
try.
let me pull this up real quick
It
on our
wouldn't
way
have
out.
been everything it was without y'all. So
It
So
honestly
we
was the most
appreciate y'all.
interesting. Like, again, me and Wicked always talk about these kind of things, but to find a circle that will talk with us about it and
Find
we
our
don't feel
people.
insane. Yeah, we found
I
our
mean,
people. And
y'all are our
yes.
people. So
So if you guys remember from last podcast, I said I had a friend that's super into conspiracies.
Yes.
So hopefully this focuses. All of his messages
Uh-huh.
are different conspiracies.
Oh.
Oh my goodness, he really is.
And he linked Twitter posts, he linked YouTube videos, TikToks, websites for every single one of them.
If we do another one, you should invite him. If
I
he's
will.
willing, you should invite him, and that would because again, there's endless conspiracy theories that, of course, we're gonna have like part 2, part 3 of these kinds of
Oh,
podcasts.
definitely. There's going to be a
Yeah.
lot of them where we're going to have to do multiple parts because you can't
For sure.
unpack everything in one.
No, not at all.
It's not
But
possible.
we are definitely, yeah, you should see if he will be a part of the next one if he's interested, and then we can actually set up the next one for that. But before we go,
Queen, do you have any last words? Anything you wanna tell everybody before we go? Yes, ma'am. We're gonna start with you.
Oh, well, I had said what I needed to say. I was very grateful for you guys being here with us. This was amazing. I was so excited for this specific topic because again, we've talked about it so much. So finally getting some feedback and hearing other theories, it was awesome. We also Oh, well, is it Ryan and Wicked talking about it?
Well,
Y'all need to
hold
does that
on.
need to say?
Queen's got some community events that'll be coming up. Do you wanna?
Thank you. See, this is why I love you so much. Because I was about to skip all of that. All right, so we have our Mortal Kombat tournament coming up on August 26th at 3
I'm so
p.m.
excited to get my ass kicked in that.
I'm so
If you
excited to kick
guys
people's asses in that.
It's gonna be amazing. If y'all have any friends that want to join, or anybody in chat that wants to join, please do. It's gonna be a good time, and the winner gets a free game at the end. I mean, I don't know, like, and it's free. It's free. All of
You
it's
get a
free.
free copy of Mortal Kombat 1.
Yes, the new one that's coming out that I cannot wait. I am like a little kid. I'm so tickled shitless about it. But that will be I am. But that will be coming up. We also have our party, our watch party.
Anime
For
watch.
anybody
Yes.
so if anybody wants to join in on that as well, please do so. It's going to be a good time.
And we're starting with My Hero, right?
We
Yes.
are.
Damien.
Yes.
Kind of
And
excited.
then
I'll rewatch.
let's see. I think that's it as of right
As
now.
of right now, yeah, I believe that's
Yeah, that's it as of right now. I am planning a couple of community nights, but those will be coming at a
to
later
be
date.
determined.
Yes, because the kids are starting school, so
Right. It's
gotta
hard to
work around
really
that. It is.
hard to set anything in stone right now with the kiddies
is.
going back. But
It
all right. And then our next is Ryan. Any final words from you, sir?
I appreciate you guys having me on the podcast. It's fun as always. Like you guys said, this is kind of the circle of people we can just, shoot the shit with and talk about whatever needs to be talked about. Even if it is controversial, we always find ways to do it respectfully and
absolutely.
not all arguments have to be bad. Sometimes, they can be good, like we have on this podcast. So I appreciate you guys
We
for
appreciate you.
letting us on. So
Of course.
And our sponsors, Stream Team Lead.
sponsors. Ooh. So I'm gonna steal this one from you. You ever been sweating your ass off playing some Call of Duty or anything like that, and you just need that extra firm, sticky grip?
Whoa.
You should check out Clutch. They have this nice jelly cream that you put on your hands,
Dog.
and you're no longer sweaty.
Extra grip.
It's
Extra
grip.
Yes.
You get in there, and you kind
Extra
of
firm.
Yeah.
It ain't going nowhere.
And then my personal favorite, because I actually enjoy the drink, and I hope we never switch these sponsors. Rogue Energy.
Let's go.
Focus.
I already did it. You're too late.
Okay.
Yes.
We saw Gatsby's.
No. She's
He's
not.
like, no.
She's not the stream team lead. Okay. Rogue Energy.
Your camera's off, sir.
It is.
Oh,
It
you
is.
suck.
Rogue Energy.
There it is. There it is.
Let me Vanna White.
We love it. We love it.
Make sure you use code RAWNation for 10% off at checkout, Brandon.
Yeah. Speaking of, you're fired. You're fired for not using code RAWNation, sir. How dare you? I'm playing. Just
Burner.
kidding.
We'll get there.
He'll remember at some point. His hair is blonde now, guys. Remember that.
It
I'll
is.
remember.
I'm a material girl.
In a material world. We love it.
But no, I really enjoy Rogue.
I really love the cans.
We have their limited time flavor right now. It's the raspberry pineapple. I highly recommend that, and the blue raspberry. I'm excited to try other flavors. Wicked said the blood orange is good, so I'm gonna give that one a try when I order. So make sure you guys check them out, and if you decide to purchase, again, use code RAWNation at checkout for 10% off. Unless you're Brandon and you think you're too good for that.
Oh my god.
All right, and with that being said, Burner, any final words?
I was really looking forward to this podcast. I love conspiracy theories. I really appreciate you guys having me on.
Of course.
And I can't wait for part 2.
And secretly in the back of his mind, he's saying, I hate all of you. Stop fucking annoying me about the Rogue Energy.
I'm being bullied.
I like it.
All right, and Gatsby, any final words?
No, just thank you guys so much. We appreciate it.
Of course.
We love that you're joining us for these, so we're looking forward to the next few that we plan on. We do have the Zodiac one coming up next.
Yes. Actually, no. I think let me double check.
Veterans. It's veterans.
Yeah. So our
and
next
then the
one coming
Zodiac.
up is Let me get where I need to be so I can make sure.
I'm actually really excited.
All
to hear
right, so our next podcast coming up is the Gulag podcast is coming up Monday. And they will be talking about the future of Apex. And then the Raw and Uncut, our next podcast is going to be for veterans.
Which, by the way, we have a special
We have a very special guest joining us.
Yeah,
And we will be discussing being in the military and life after. And then, of course, as Queen said, we got the MK11 tournament coming up on the 26th of August. And then on the,
arms up,
on the
arms up. Hold on.
Yeah.
Arms up, arms up.
Just before we end, I do have a couple announcements as well, if you guys are okay with that.
Yeah.
It just has to do with the stream team. You can keep going. I can do it at the end.
Okay.
Oh, okay. And then also on the 26th, at 9 p.m. Central that night, we will be doing the Raw Nation Anime Watch Party. If anybody would like to join us for that, if you're into anime, definitely
Very
join
much
us. And that's it for this month, as far as podcasts and events and stuff like that. And as Ryan said, check out Clutch if you're in the middle of a really crazy game or a high stakes tournament and your hands get super sweaty and you want to get more grip on that controller. Definitely try our cream. Clutch's cream is amazing. It makes your hands very dry and it gives you better grip.
For gripping the controller or the joystick.
Whatever you plan on gripping.
It'll help out with that grip.
Exactly.
Just make sure you don't spit on your hands.
And as always, remember, guys, you are smart, you are kind, you are important, and we love every single one of you.
I mean, most of you.
Shade, all the
come on.
I'm right here.
And we're gonna throw it right back to Ryan.
So be on the lookout as well. we are starting our randomizing of the stream team to do takeovers. Just so happens that the first one is sitting in this call right now. Mr. Burner is going to be doing a takeover, and he's also going to be giving away some rogue energy. Burner, if you want to go into your little details on what they need to do to be entered into the raffle.
So, lucky enough for all of my fellow stream team members, you get one entry. I would like to, for free.
Very nice.
As far as any other viewers, or if the stream team feels greedy, any bit donation, 1 bit donation will be another entry. I will not accept, spamming a bunch of 1 bit entries so that you just get 14 of them because you have 10,000 bits. And then every sub will be a new entry, and every additional gifted sub to the Raw Nation channel will be yet another entry. Hopefully, like a lot of our giveaways, it doesn't just end up going back to Raider. He's very lucky in that sense.
Hey, I
Wow.
gave him the idea that he should do. You get 5 entries if you go follow his kick channel, but he didn't take that one, so.
I don't want to be greedy, but if you want to drop my kick a follow, by all means.
Let's go. I like it.
And then we have obviously the one solo takeover that happens every month, and that's Eagle, so be on the lookout for that as well. So, and that's all I had. So you guys are good to go.
All right.
Sounds good. All right. Any suggestions on who we can raid out to? I would like to throw it to one of y'all to decide who we're gonna raid out to. Just let me know.
If it's somebody that's not in Raw Nation, that would be even better.
I have somebody from an old stream group of mine who isn't a part of it anymore, thank God. His username is Swiznips.
Okay, hold on.
He's playing Call of Duty Vanguard right now.
How do you spell that?
SWIZZNIPS.
Cool.
His picture, I think, is cheese.
Listen.
No user matching that login.
Did you put 2 Z's?
It's 2 Z's?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he did cut out whenever he said that. All right.
It's because Gabs was dying.
Yeah.
Sorry about it. I'll get the ambulance after we're done here.
Ambulam.
Dream's not over. Stop dying.
Yeah. We're trying to stream.
All right. There we go. All right, guys, we're raiding out to Swiznips, and as always, thank y'all so much for being here, and we absolutely appreciate every single one of y'all. Have a great night.
Night.
Number